L trade, so not too bad. Let's see if we can get into the volume weighted average price. It's been an absolute monster of a ride with you guys here this morning. Go Blue Jays, go. We're going back to the midday. It's going to be Adara and Adobe. The Adobe show. Sharif and I will be back at 2 p.m. sharp.
What a crazy morning. Hopefully you guys are. How are you doing?
I'm here. How are you?
Well, I didn't really see that.
Okay, sorry about that. Muted, but yes. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us here. Hopefully, I was saying that hopefully you guys had a solid morning session. It's been pretty good. AMD didn't really do anything too crazy, but NVIDIA absolutely solid off of the open. I think that's the only thing that I really kind of participated in. But we'll talk about that later. I was asking Adara how your morning was, and if you had any interesting trades this morning.
This morning was kind of a blur and it was kind of wild. And I'm happy to be here with you guys. This is going to be my first time. Like this monitor's, I don't know where to look.
Yeah, these monitors are huge, right?
Yeah, these are
very clear.
Baby,
that one is
very big. So, anyways, I'll talk here about my good friend Ferrari. So nice. I want to explain why I did what I did on this because I feel like you might have questions, and I'm going to stand by what I did because I follow my plan. So if you draw, I forget how to draw trend lines here. If you draw little trend lines, right, this was kind of, on the 15 it's a bit cleaner, but there is an uptrend here, right? And I'm gonna see if I can zoom. It's hard because I don't really chart on P8 anymore, so, but right, like there's a little bop, there's another bop. So basically what we did was we were holding the anchor VWAP from the event, and we sloop up here, I got long, and this is where I say, bear with me, I gave it to True Risk. In my opinion, I got long 420.50. I believe True Risk was 415.50. A lot of people would not be comfortable holding it for that long. I don't care because I trade these spready stocks. You're going to be like in the money $1, you're out the money $3, you're in the money $5. Like this is kind of how it goes. And I find too, and this is a caveat that I think is really important when I get into this trade, and bear with me, I'm going to explain this whole trade if you guys don't mind. So with these spready tickers, sometimes I find, like a lot of people say, and I think this is true for a lot of trades, that if it's good, it should go right away. That is not true for spready stocks at all. A lot of times the best trades, they go right to your stop loss and then they go. So with that in mind, that I think to give a sense of my mental, I think is important. So my stop loss, 415.50, I'm not moving it until we make a higher low in the trend line or I get stopped out. So we do make a higher low in the trend line and I add to the position actually, and I usually don't average down. I only average down when it's part of a ongoing trend and if I still feel the trade is hot. So I did it. And then we do this. I'll zoom in so you guys can kind of see what I did, right?
You can see it better,
right? So then we have this fun little predicament where we just chill at 416s, and we chill at 416s. And most people would probably be like, Adara, why are you not punching out here? I will tell you why I didn't punch out there, because that was not part of the plan. I had my stop at like right above 416. Right? Nice. So we're chilling. And then we get this spike up here, and I'm like, okay, this is why I didn't stop out, because sometimes these tickers give that to you. And as I said, sometimes the best trades on spready stocks are if they get right to your level, and then they bounce. So I chilled. Either way, it didn't end up getting stopped out, but by that time, I had long recognized, probably by around here, like around where I added, that I was like, okay, if we break 416, I'm hopping to the short. It is such a short at 416. I don't care. So I got short. I got stopped out. I immediately get short 416, and I tried to add here this 415 breakout, or a breakdown, but I forgot this was SSR, so I didn't get filled. That is my own fault. Either way, we are continuing to the downside. I don't have any plans to add right now. Truthfully, I just want to see this go down. There is a double bottom at 408. I will almost definitely take profit out at 408. And yeah, I'll talk about it. I did. Okay, nice. Thank you, Ferrari.
Nice.
But
wow, look at that.
I will. My layout's not fully set up, as you can see, guys. I'm still getting used to this. I had some trades I tried in AMD, and I actually wanted this long. I couldn't get filled on this breakout of 237.5. Either way, with my system, I probably would have gotten stopped out flat or for a loss here anyway with the long, just because of the system I use, so it's fine. Tried this AMD short, and in case you're like, hey, Adara, why would you add here? This was an AVWAP I liked, and I use a lot of AVWAPs, so I'm not going to get too into my strategy because I'm still trying to refine it, but either way, tried it, didn't work, got stopped out, tried it again, and I actually liked this one a lot better. Added again, we have the breakdown, then we come back, I get stopped out, I'm chilling, because you don't get emotional when you trade. I was in AAPL 11 too, and I apologize, Obi, for yapping, I'll send it back to you in a second.
No worries.
So with these spready tickers, a lot of times this is the one situation where I actually think you can and often should chase, because they might not give you the first entry, but you can still keep your risk relatively tight and give it a little bit more. So 619 is a huge level for me in App 11. Look what we wick right off the open. I wanted the 614 breakdown, couldn't get filled. Tried 613, because that was I think like the 1 minute low, could not get filled. I was like, whatever, fine. What about 610? We consolidate for a bit. I'm like, yo, what about 610 versus 613? Would you believe it wouldn't fill me? But I'm like, it's fine. So then you go, Adara, why would you get long right before VWAP? So the book on it was really clean. I will fully add the book was clean. And when you look at the 1 minute, I think you can probably see what I mean a little bit more. So look at this 1 minute, right? We get this pop into VWAP. Then we make a higher low, we hold the 90 MA. I wasn't even looking at the 1 minute. I looked at it after to try to figure out my brain why I did this, but I did see stuff I liked in the book. I did have my stop a little bit lower, plus I got slipped. I had it around the 8 VWAP from the low. Either way, it didn't work. It's all good. I'm chilling, and I don't check my P&L, though I did accidentally see it when I switched streams. I am red, but you know what? My positivity is green, my attitude is green, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. How was your morning?
Nice. that sounds awesome. Those were some solid trades there. Good job getting involved in some of the strong movers there. I think the one of the only ones I did have on watch. We can talk about some of the stocks that I did have on watch. I had NVIDIA, I had DAL. We know that had earnings. So on my main screen, I had NVIDIA and DAL on. I was also watching AMD. We know that one's been moving around, and Pepsi, Figma, Intel. SLV, we saw that one, silver kind of moving around this morning. That was a pretty aggressive pop in the pre-market session. So I was watching all of these stocks. Tilray as well. I know some of you guys been involved in a bit of Tilray. But so the thing is, I know both Sharif and Joe mentioned this. I did trade NVIDIA. So we were talking about it yesterday. I was so excited to trade AMD in Blue Ocean last night. And it did well. I mean, it did decent volume. It did outlier volume. It was doing amazing. But the thing is, I missed the open, and I thought that the best entry was at the open. The market in the Nasdaq was bleeding out as well. And I liked the short on AMD, and I think the best prices were right off of the open. Didn't really get involved. I watched it from like 8 p.m. all the way to around 11:30, and I was telling Joe this. I was literally about to get up. 11:30, I'm like, okay, nothing's really happening. 11:40-ish, nothing's really happening. I want to get up. I'm probably time for bed. It's way past my bedtime. I'm trying to go to bed at 10 o'clock normally, but Blue Ocean sometimes, it keeps you up. It keeps you interested. Right as I'm about to get up, there was news, Adara, last night on NVIDIA. And how did I know? I just saw like a strong bid just come in, not even just on NVIDIA, but across the board. I saw it come in on the Nasdaq. I saw it come in on the ES. I saw it coming in on Tesla and AMD, and everything was just bidding like crazy. And I was like, something's definitely happening. And I caught the initial leg of that NVIDIA push last night in Blue Ocean on the news that the U.S. government has approved billions of dollars worth of sales of NVIDIA chips to the UAE. So that was nice. And 192 was a bit of an interesting level last night. So let me just, I'll refresh this chart here and pull that back up so you guys can take a look at what I did off of the open. So NVIDIA, pretty good last night. Long and strong, and I was looking at 192. There was a significant participant at 192 last night that I was watching, and I was like, all right, well, buddy's gonna get filled with the way that the ask is being held up. He was on the ask, that participant, and 192 got blasted through. We went all the way to 193. So coming in today, I was like, all right, I like all of that action. I saw the demand last night, and I see the demand coming in the morning. So I'm not necessarily buying specific prices. Sure, I can be a little bit heavier on the right side of the V, which I was here, but I like this whole area. I just want to keep, I want to try to get inventory above 191, maybe 190 halves at the most. Yeah, so that panned out pretty nicely here as 191s held really well. We reclaimed VWAP. You guys saw Joe was in this position as well, in and around VWAP for the strong push, all the way from 191s to 195s. Unfortunately, I pieced off of most of it going into 194s and the rest of it into 194 halves, but oh boy, that 195 came in real nice. Since then, we've just been kind of consolidating sideways. 192 to 195 is the range. This was a nice reversion on NVIDIA. But yeah, these chips, man, they're really giving us great opportunities and something to watch out for, especially when something like an NVIDIA hits an all-time highs in the overnight trading session, right? Yeah. So something to watch out for. Well, what about you? Were there any other names that you were watching off of the open today that kind of didn't do what you were looking for, or did do what you're looking for, and you kind of missed? Because I know in terms of for me, I missed a little bit of Intel because I did think it pushed up into a supply zone in the morning on that new chip news. But a couple missed trades on my part. But other than NVIDIA, I didn't really see anything too crazy. I think the boys were trading Path as well as Tilray. Those were pretty decent as well.
Yeah, so I liked also, guys, just so you know, yes, I'm aware RAC is coming back to my entry price. I am short 416. I'm going to let it do this because I don't want to get out just because I'm worried it's going to go against me. Like, I would rather get stopped out with where I want to get stopped out than like freak out over this. And again, and maybe that's something I'm trying to work on in trading, right? Maybe I could let things go against me too far. But again, I would rather do that than kind of chase and freak out and trade on emotion, because I'm not here to trade on emotion. I'm here to trade my plan. So get to the plan here. You asked me what my plan. Also, guys, I do have to address this every time. No, also to address Taste the Packs, I am actually not trading SIM. But thank you very much for your concern. And thank you for your kind words. Because you know what? We have a great community here.
There are trades live.
Everybody's concerns over my live trade. Yeah. Let's talk here about CrowdStrike, though. So CRWD. If you go to, I was looking at this in a 4-hour. We were going ham over here, OB and people. And yeah, I do talk a little fast, guys. I will continue to speak quickly because that is how these markets go. Oh my gosh, this is what I wanted. Okay.
Boom. Oh my God.
My knee hit the I'm so sorry, guys.
Let's go.
So, oh my God. So CrowdStrike on the 4-hour. What I wanted was, and you can't see it here, you can see it better in TradingView, there was like this 510 level. I wanted that breakout. It's not all-time highs, but it's pretty darn close. So, but the 502 was the level I said, hey, if we drop this right off the open, I want to look for some, I guess, bounce here. So CrowdStrike, what volume are you doing, sweet friend, CrowdStrike, sweet, beautiful angel CrowdStrike? What volume are you doing? Okay, it's pretty bad. I don't like it. I also don't like this setup. Like, yes, we get the 502 bounce, but this doesn't really get me out of bed in the morning. You know what I mean? Like higher lows from the low of the day, but I need a little bit more. Thank you very much for the kind words, OB. I will be everybody's espresso over here on this show, because you know what? I love these markets. These markets, jab me up and they wake me up. And yeah, I mean, the point I'm trying to make is I like CrowdStrike as a breakout, and now that I see this 502 break, I like it better.
Yeah. So okay. So I mean, I'm looking for the next trade. I think we're gonna fix there's Mike in a second there. But yeah, looking for the next trade. Like I said, I'm mainly sitting on my hands. Here's the thing, man. Throughout my time here on the floor, and I even said this yesterday, there's so many C trades that show up, man. There's so many C trades. Like, yeah, I can take a scalp off of that, take a scalp off of that. But where are the trades that actually are meaningful, that actually are, what do you call higher conviction? Which ones do I have high conviction for, and which ones do I not really have high conviction for? And I'm just like, all right, the probability of it happening is okay, but is it really worth my time? That's the real question, right? So is it worth my mental capital, or should I be saving it for something that's again, aligns more with my playbook? Something right now that is moving is ARM. Now, ARM yesterday had some crazy strength into the close, so let's take a quick look at that one before we move on as well. So ARM, look at this strength. Wow, where is this line coming from? 164 must have been an important place in the past. I'll go back and take a look at that one. We had a little bit of a consolidation with a strong push into the close yesterday. This is aggressive strength, and this is not imbalances. This I don't think it was news either. 3 o'clock volume starts to just come in, and ARM starts to ramp up for a high all the way up to 168 halves. started off at 160. So coming in today, yeah, I did have it on watch a little bit, but it's getting that follow through as of right now. So where is the next trade? Maybe it could be right here, or it was right here, because look at that VWAP hold. Nice little consolidation. Strong flush. I like that for the reversion, but the reversion doesn't follow through. It finds some support on top of VWAP, and guess what? I got to go back and look at this chart. But that 164, there's a reason I put that line in there, and I got to trust myself. If I see that I threw up I had enough conviction to throw up a line on the chart, and it's starting to respect it, I do have to maybe look to get involved as well, especially with the confluence of holding opening range highs, VWAP, plus maybe a significant level, plus volume expansion into the push of the breakout. So ARM absolutely solid here. 170s testing on ARM, but let's see what you guys are looking at here. LAC, LAC. I don't know, man. That thing's been lacking over the past couple of days, but nice run up. It's sustaining levels, right? It had that strong push, but this is what I mean. A little bit of a sideways chop and a hold on top of $8 on LAC. So that's something to watch out for. I'm watching it bigger picture, so 3 hours. I know a lot of people have been involved in this one on the swing trade. That's been working out nicely over the past month or so. Yeah, we'll see. 982s are the highs on LAC. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Apple. Yeah, Apple is really weak. Alphabet's really weak. Oh boy, I guess I haven't looked at the Mag 7 as of right now. But yeah, Alphabet and Apple both looking like they're getting aggressively sold off here. We'll just take a look at them before I pass it back to Dara. So Google, right here, you can see pretty aggressive sellers off of the open. The market was also selling off, but the market reverted. It's reverted about 50% so far with reference to its opening prices, but Google nowhere near that reversion. Sellers still kind of holding out. Look at this aggressive volume as well. All of these volume bars exceeding that of the average volume bar traded prior day, and you can even see like these bars kind of rival the bars of the open and the close on Google, which is very, very interesting, and kind of shows you that, yeah, sellers are definitely on board on Google today. So when and if they do step off, maybe that's the next trade. I don't know. I'm looking for maybe a reversion. We've gotten a first green candle, and we've also gotten a first prior bar high break on the 15-minute candle here on Google as well. But unusual sellers. When there's unusual sellers, I want to be a little bit more patient and hold off before and look for more information and more confluence as well. So those are the things I guess I'm watching now. Let me know in the chat where you guys are watching. We'll get back to there.
Yeah, thank you for that, Obi. Sure, guys, I'm going to be honest with you because that's what we do here on the show. I'm still getting used to, like, it's been 6 months since I've been here for the entire 3 hours. I'm still getting used to kind of trading and talking at the same time, and I'm getting very comfortable in my little hobbit hole in the Shire over yonder where I just kind of trade in peace. And this shocks a lot of people, but I'm an introvert. So that's, kind of more my earth and my wheelhouse where I'm more comfortable. So this is something, that I need to get used to again, but I'm happy and pleased to do it with all of you guys. Let's talk about dangerous. Again, great pun for the name there. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Some love for Obi and Adara on the midday. UiPath, let's go. Also, I just saw a comment asking if Obi looks like Snoop Dogg, and that's the thing. I don't know what to say to that other than get it. Let's take a look at UiPath because, wow, this is beautiful. This is not one that I would really do anything with because I think also, like, at this point, you're kind of in it or you're not. I think it would be a hard one to get into. Great look here for UiPath. Great push to the upside. Let's see. Let me take a look here. Someone asking about puns. Don't worry, we're not going to force these. If they come, they will come. But I think this one certainly is going to be the path higher. I'll say that for sure. And this 30-minute, oh my gosh, this is a coil. Okay, love this. So I don't want to push back again because I'm worried I'm going to cause another earthquake on this desk. But if I'm being really truthful with you guys. But look here, look at this 1740 level. If we break out of this, like, honestly, this is great. This is a rocket ship. I don't want to add, I'm not even in it. I don't want to get in, like, I don't want to force anything in on here, but this is a nice look here for UiPath. Was that Oracle news negative? This is pumping now, says Los Pollos. It was not, yeah, it was negative, I would say. But I mean, sometimes the market digests info and it decides it doesn't care. And that's how I always say this. And that's why I think I'm in a unique position, right? Where I do take day trades every day, but I'm also, I do the news. And so how I have to look at it is, like, I will say the news, I'll report the news to you guys, but I don't really like to let the news impact my bias if I'm already in a trade. So for example, I remember I was in a Boeing trade once, I was long Boeing, and then some news came out about Boeing that was negative that I got out because I was like, oh, my trade's not gonna work now, and Boeing didn't care. So you really, you know what I mean? You have to wait and see what the stock's gonna tell you. That being said, Oracle did drop. It was around here, the news, I think probably around here, yeah, it was like 10:40, there we go. The news came out around here, but in the technical story, it was still in an uptrend, and where it bounced was VWAP. So story wasn't great, but it continued to push higher, so great look. Sailing SPR, I am in a trade. I think they're working on the position board, so I will be real there. I am in RACE, okay. And this is why, what I like to say, and this is why, you know, and I'm not trying to front or anything. I told you guys I'm right on the day. I don't look at my P&L, but I accidentally saw it when I was setting up, and also like mathematically, I knew I would be anyway. But look at this RAC. This is why you kind of have to keep your stops in and not respond to emotion. So my short here, this was where I got out of the long, if you guys missed it earlier. So I got short here, right? My stop is around here. So basically the top, that kind of wick top, right? I was like, you know what, Derek, yes, we bounced like, what, $4 off the low, but I'm not gonna panic because it hasn't hit my stop yet. And in fact, Obi and people, yes. What I might do here, pray tell, is that, oh, there's an ad. Okay, I want to add here at this low, which is, what is this, around 414.17, and then, yeah, so I think I'm probably going to add to that. If we get a little bouncy here, I'm not going to like that anymore, but I do like the concept of adding to RACE here, so that's likely what I'm going to do. UiPath, we looked at, UiPath is looking great. People were asking me about the IPO, so I'm going to look at the IPO, and I apologize to you guys. I know I am the news person. I do have my little news screen up with my X account, so if there's anything big that I see, I will certainly keep you all apprised. I am not listening to the cabinet meeting, which, you know, I'm a little sad about, truthfully. I'll watch it later, but I don't want, you know what I mean? I want to make sure I'm able to focus on giving you guys the trades. So IPO, let's take a look here, Obi, at this IPO.
Yeah, there is an IPO too.
Thank you very much for Alex, Puerto Rican, $5 super chat. Adair, it's true you may speak faster than some people, but don't apologize. Some people just need to listen faster. Girl, you're a bat. And then the strong person emoji. So thank you very much, Alex, Puerto Rican. I hope Florida and Puerto Rico are doing quite well now, both for you there. Phoenix Education Partners is the IPO, NYSE, $32 price target. Someone earlier in this chat was saying this is $1.2 billion IPO. I can't verify that because I haven't checked yet, but I will put this up on my side screen so that I can see it. Okay, get rid of the CrowdStrike for now because I'm just going to watch the chart on that because it's going to take a while to set up. PXED. So guys, I will have that ready for you for the NYSE. Let's get a little more details here on the IPO. So Phoenix Education Partners is going to be rising from the ashes here. Again, $32 price. Let's see if it opens above or below that. It's not open yet. Tap here, $34. Theoretical option volume here at 155.2 thousand. And then, PXED, 4.25 million shares. Not a ton of shares here. And again, expected to IPO today, offering $136 million. So there we go. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, no, I think I think it's important to remember what were the kind of how do you say the stats or like the makeup of all of the IPOs this year that did really well, right? That's something to ask. They had hype, they had oversubscription. Like, what were the factors that made some of those IPOs? They were notionally huge. Most of the ones that were really, really good this year were all probably above 600 million, above $1 billion easily. We saw Circle, we saw Figma. All of those, the better ones had those kind of, I guess, pedigree, if you want to call it, criteria kind of coming into it. So the oversubscription is huge. The AI hype was huge. The question you have to ask yourself on these IPOs is that the same kind of IPO trade on these new IPOs? Not just punching into every fresh IPO that comes out just because one or two of them or a few of them actually went. You really have to understand the nuances when it comes down to which ones are working, which ones are not, and it could be even better. You can still, I'm not saying don't trade it, I'm just saying that if it's not the same then maybe it's better to go the other way. Is what I'm saying. More to that. But let's see what else is going on here. Alphabet's still weak, so we talked about that first green candle. Oh boy, that's coming right back in through day low. So this is what I mean. Unusual sellers. We identified that this selling volume is very unusual because it does rival the magnitude of that of opening and closing candles for this week here, especially the prior 2 days. So that to me just is indicative of maybe an unusual seller participating on Google in the morning. I have no idea who or what it is or why it is, nor do I care. But the fact of the matter remains is that when and if that seller does step off, I want to ask the question, will Google revert to the mean? Will Google balance itself out? Is this unusual seller kind of pushing price down in such a way that this is mispricing? So that kind of concept in a sense. And then if this is mispricing, what's an effective area and what's an effective place to potentially, take the mean reversion so that you can balance or participate in balancing this specific market here. So that's the question. I like it. Let's see what you guys are asking here. Boom, boom, boom. All in AMD saying Mr. Easy Street. So, okay, we can take a look at that one. AMD here, Advanced Micro Devices. All right, so yeah, AMD short was nice off of the open, I guess. I mean, I'm kind of still consolidating, holding. I think this was the pullback from yesterday, 229s, 230s. So that's something to watch out for. I think that's where buyers kind of came in. Well, I don't think that's where buyers came in, but I think that's where I want to look for buyers if price kind of drops down into that 230 area as of right now. But the market's looking weak, man. You can see the ES here as well. Not really kind of, bidding up as much.
Yeah, so OB here, yeah, this AMD, I was in this short, as I said a couple times, got stopped out twice. But yeah, I mean, it looks really good now, but the thing too, I think that's important is you don't want to force anything, right? You don't want to get into a short, and I think like sometimes to go back to AAPL, there are times where a low of day breakdown trade, and I think especially certainly for certain stocks is going to be valid. Also, guys, I do want to remind you I am in a position. I don't know why it's not showing up, but I am short 416 RACE. It is kind of racing in circles right now. But so let's talk about AAPL. So with this, I'll switch to 1 minute. Maybe you guys can see it better. So yeah, okay, so great. This is what I'm trying to talk about. So that's 600 breakdown, right? You've got, and it's not super clean either. It wicks all the way up to 606, but then it pushes lower. So it's like sometimes, your low of day breakdowns, I find, especially in the morning if the stock's already weak, you kind of want to get into that. If it's something like AMD where you have to risk that's at least $2-3 on a stock like AMD. That's not really going to get me too excited, get me out of bed in the morning. I hate that I keep using that analogy, but that's not really going to do it for me, right? I have to think about what am I really trying to get from it, and then is it going to be worth it for me for AMD? I'm not sure. Like, it has a lot of room to drop, as Obi said, but you don't want to force anything here. Obi, do you have what are you looking at right now? The SPY actually. I
think SPY looks good. I think, but here's the thing. I'm just observing Google and Apple here. But people in the chat talking about I guess this IPO. So do you want to take a look at the S1 filing maybe for that?
Yeah,
and
I'll see if I can find
pull up the IPO for that. Yeah, that could be pretty interesting as well here. So that's kind of what I'm watching. I'm waiting for the next trade. So you guys let me know in the chat what you guys are watching, what you guys are looking at, and we're more than welcome to kind of cover that. So I think you do have the S1 up if you want to talk about that.
So I am looking through it. I've never really done one of these before.
You can search like underwriters.
Yeah, there we go. Because I'm like, this is not. Yeah. Here we go. I spelled with it. There's a K in here. Oh, okay. Underwriter. Let me see who the underwriters are on this. This is mentioned 97 times, so we're gonna have to keep scrolling. I'm not seeing a list of the underwriters here though. Underwriters. I'm gonna have to go through this later, but I'm not immediately finding it. This is mentioned again 97 times in this document. Let's talk about Google here though, guys. AAPL breaking out. I kind of want this long, but I'll figure that out later, and I am going to add to my short on Ferrari because, as I mentioned, if it, there we go. I had to punch midpoint because with the situation with regards to the SSR, I was only going to get it if I punched midpoint. Google, people keep talking about Google. GOGL, oh my gosh, this is it's a little sad. This is a breakdown. Absolutely, this is a breakdown. And here's the thing, Opie, this one is kind of a sneaky dude. Because look at this. We get this like kerplunk, right? Wires, there we go. We kerplunk here. Okay, now my position is showing on RACE, awesome. All I had to do was add. It won't, okay, there we go. Now I can add trend lines maybe, there we go. So what I'm trying to show you guys here is look at this downtrend on Google. And it kind of fakes you out. It actually breaks out of the downtrend, as you can see. A little bit of a breakout, but notably it doesn't make a higher high. So that's sometimes I think too with trend lines, you don't always just want to look like, oh, is it obeying the trend line? You want to see, is it also making a higher high? Because in this case, Google broke out of the trend for sure, but it did not make a higher high. And then it continues to break lower. Right now, it's kind of tepid. It's not anything I would want as a low of day break, so I wouldn't get involved in it. But either way here, OGL, certainly going to be spicy. And I think on watch today, AMD, I think probably did its flat bottom break. There we go. As you can see, my timing on this was a bit unfortunate. But, one thing, you can't beat yourself up for trades, right? What I can say about my AMD trades is I was looking in the right direction. I was looking at an in-play stock. My timing was off. My stop placement was off. And my entries were probably off as well. And in that case, you can say, well, why was there anything good about this trade? What's good about it was I was looking at it and I made attempts at it. And I didn't go too crazy on risk. I took trades that I believed in. I think, you can say whatever, Pollyanna, maybe, but you have to stay positive, because if you don't stay positive, how are you going to get positive on your trades? If you have a negative mindset, you're just going to I don't know, you're just going to beat yourself up and hurt yourself, and I don't think it's going to be fun for anybody involved here. You took the attempt, you tried the trade. I want to thank David Treziak for the $20 super chat. Sean and Neil said to 4 exercise, parents away, kids play, just a few units short AMD. Well, congrats to your AMD short, David Treziak. And yeah, I mean, honestly, with regards to size, and I actually really want to have this conversation, Obi, so I know you and I are both kind of people with regards to size. We'll kind of take it if we think the position warrants it, right? Like I would say that's the case. I do want to say though here, with regards to especially the stocks I take with spread, sometimes big size for me is probably going to be like a tenth of a position maybe Sharif or Joe will take, because like I said, I have to risk a lot more for my positions. Again, real risk on my Ferrari trade earlier was $6. So obviously the sizing on that is not going to be as exponential as you might see if you're going to be trading like Delta or Pepsi, right? Or any ticker that is like a little bit less spread, like for example, Sharif's small caps, maybe he's going to risk 6 cents on a stock. So I think sizing is really proportional to the opportunity and to the stock in which you are trading. And I think be important about that. Always Testy is saying, I slowed down the stream 2 times. Now I can hear you clearly. Guys, I do talk fast. I try to slow down, and then I find I just can't really keep up. And this is a great question from Zabo, XABO. So is your profit target also $6? No. My profit target is going to be, what is the trade going to give me? And here's the reason I say that, because I think a lot of times, I'm not going to pull my trade up because I'd have to go through my Google Drive, but App Lovin' a couple days ago, I had that, that's a New York trade. I had that long off the open, and I had to risk. Long.
I think that was one of the trades that you showed me, or
yeah, I showed you guys, you and Jose that one. So we'll scroll back, but
we were going over some of Adara's trades earlier this week.
Thank you. Yeah, that was
dope. That was good.
So I'll pull up the actual trade later. Right now, what day is this? This is.
I don't know if your arrows might still be there. They could be.
They're not going to be there, but so this was the long I took basically. And I'll find it later and show you guys. So I had to risk like $5 for this with slippage, maybe 6. But this trade, it gave you $35 off that. I ended up getting out with like 21. But the point I'm trying to make is with the stocks I trade, sometimes you're going to lose and it's not going to be worth the risk you take. But sometimes I think that RR can be immeasurable. I think if the opportunity is worth it, I don't mind risking that much money, because I'm not trading it for RR. I'm taking it, what is the value of this opportunity? Is this opportunity worth what I'm taking? Can I size it appropriately? Sometimes I'll even take like 1 share. I'm being really honest with you guys, just because it's a trade worth trying. Now I don't do that for every trade, because some trades, it's like, even if you take 1 share, you're kind of wasting your time. But if it's what I like to do, I don't like to think about it as, how much am I risking? How much am I trying to make? I like to assess the opportunity. Now that App Lovin' trade, as I mentioned, if you had like that entire move, it was like 6 to 1, 7 to 1, if you risked $5. But either way, even if it was only moved $5, $10, I stand by the trade, because I like the technicals, I assess the situation, I assess the risk, and I thought it was worth it. And shout out to Maybelline, L'Oreal, I should know this cosmetic brand, because
maybe
you're
it's
worth
Maybelline.
It. What trades are worth it for you right now, Obi?
What trades are worth it for me? I'm not really looking at much more than the stuff that I've pointed out. But I think the point on sizing that you mentioned, I think is pretty good. That's something to watch out for, and that's something I'm working on as well. So, because for example, my NVIDIA trade this morning, NVIDIA was really nice in terms of. what do you call, in terms of the opening range here. But I liked buying all the prices, but it gave you that nice dip. It gave you the opening range break. It held this pre-market low as well, 190, 191 as well. So you know, that's what I'm kind of looking at right now. So we'll see. Let's go. We'll see what happens. Let's find the next opportunity as of right now. Google with some fresh lows. Doing not too bad. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Not too bad. Good stuff.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, I'm just like, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Google reversion is probably
sorry,
really
OB, RACE is at like 411.
Yeah. Are you in that short?
Oh, I added to it.
Great short. I think it was good. It was good to keep eyes on that short, and it was really good to kind of participate in that. So.
Oh, it's the Euro close. That's why it tanked so much. I'm like, why did my beautiful child?
Here's the thing. It's already like we had it reported earnings today, right?
Yeah. Oh no, it just had some guidance update. They had some capital markets.
So I think that's more of the reasoning why there's sellers in charge on the day today, because it's an earnings day, I think. But yeah, good stuff. Staying involved in that one here. NVIDIA coming back into VWAP as of right now, so that's just chopping around sideways. I'm gonna be a little bit more patient with that one, but the main one right now, I'm gonna I'm gonna look at Google here and take a look at this. Look at this aggressive selling. We're seeing unusual selling. It's going to be 245s all the way down to 240s. So aggressive sellers on this one. Market is selling off as well at the same time. So I'm just being like, all right, I'm waiting for this seller to step off. This is very, very unusual in my opinion. Look at the extension we've had. Adair, did we have news on this one in the pre-market session? Because that little pop definitely looks like news. And
that
it looks
8 a.m.?
like that's this is.
Yeah. Was that right at 8 a.m. when the news
Right
came?
a.m. So
then I know what it was.
So what was the news on that?
It was weird. They just announced their Google Enterprise. I think what happened was the market got excited about the announcement, and then they were kind of like, what does this really mean? But really, apparently, the goal of the product was to compete with like Microsoft and OpenAI and stuff like that. That was my understanding of the news there, Obi. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
That's good. That's good. That's what I wanted to ask. Okay, so we're selling off on this news. Pretty aggressively, I guess. So that would explain some of the unusual sellers. So same idea, waiting for some of this selling in this market to step off to really participate. But Amazon is relatively strong as well. We can take a look at this one. This one was pretty decent in terms of a reversion. Yesterday we saw that end of day, boom, quadunk all day bid, and a little bit of a continuation. So strong bid all day, and then strong selling off the break of trend. And guess what? We can't even reclaim that consolidation. That consolidation low ends up being this breakdown price right off of the open, and boom, continuation of sellers right off of the open. So yeah, good look there. Let me know what you guys are trading, what you guys are involved in on the day today, or any strong ideas that may have panned out in the morning. I'm more than willing to take a look at them today.
Yeah, thank you for that one, Obi. I do want to shout out, thank you to Steve M, complimenting the courage of convictions. And I think that's really important, right? Like, I think it's obviously worth knowing, when does your conviction change? When are you like, okay, maybe step away from this? But like I said, if you have a plan, your courage of your conviction should be, what is the plan? Is the plan still working? And that's why I stayed in the RACE as long as I did, which I do recognize probably most people would have, and I would even argue should have left. But I stayed because, the idea is strong opinions loosely held. And my opinion was so loosely held, I immediately entered the short when I got stopped out of the long. And that's, I think, where courage of convictions is, right? My conviction was this long is fine until we break 416. And at that point, my conviction went on to the short. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I think that is where courage of convictions comes in. I really appreciate your comment, Steve M. And I think the thing is, if you guys remember watching me like 2 years ago, crazy time flies, when I started in the midday, at this time 2 years ago, Obi, I was not even shorting. I was too scared to short. I thought you couldn't short trades. And I remember one time you and Sean were like, just take a short already. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then I shorted Tesla and I lost $2 right away.
You've gotten so comfortable with shorting.
I love
You've gotten so comfortable with shorting. Here's the thing, man. We've seen the growth in Adair's trading over time, and it's absolutely exponential, I would say, like a world of a difference from when, I remember the first time I sat beside you on the midday show.
Halloween.
And was it 2 Halloweens ago? Yeah. So, and then I was like, yeah, I really like the way your entries and exits are. And I started talking to her about like, why are you trading in the sim? It makes no sense. You should have some skin in the game. And I think it was after that you took the compliance test and went live since then. And since then, oh boy, have some of those trades been really, really nice. Like I was saying before, Jose and I were actually pretty impressed earlier on in the week with a couple of trades that Adara was showing us. So I was like, wait, let me see those because I kind of want to study those as well. At the same time, being like, okay, some of your entries and exits on these stocks are absolutely, I guess, sniper, very, very methodical. And we talked about this. Like, you're really, really good at following rules. So if you have a rule set, you're just following your rules, and it really shows on your chart with the cleanliness of some of the entries and exits. So
yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the kind words there, Obi. And I think one thing too, there's a couple comments here about shorts versus long that I want to address. And one thing I do want to say, I really appreciate Obi had to say there, and thank you very much for the kind words and for the support here in the chat, everybody too. But one thing I want to shout out Michael Noss. Michael Noss is awesome. He's awesome, dare we say. And I've had the pleasure of getting to talk to him live in person at the studio a couple times as well. And I think one thing that he said before in the show that just stuck out to me so much was he said he likes rules, and if he meets a situation that he doesn't know, then maybe he steps out and he comes up with rules for it for next time. And I think that's a really great way of doing it. I want to get better at coming up with these rules kind of on the fly and being more adaptable to it. But either way, I think, just having that system and being prepared to make those rules is a really good thing. So I do want to address some of these comments about my trade specifically, and then also about some of these comments too. So, okay, nice. You just got another out here in RACE. I covered part at 410 just because I was like, okay, this was a drop. Let's get a little bit. Then like I said, 408 was a double bottom. I did want to take out some more here. I still have half the position. And I don't have any intentions of moving said half of the position, Obi, because my car is parked. This Ferrari is parked. And, you're
not taking it to the track? Well, I mean, it seems like the track is downhill today.
Yeah.
Like with that kind of a report. I mean, aggressive. Like, what was it? What was it sold off? It was sold off something really aggressive on the day from the open.
It's like one of its worst sessions ever.
70? Does that say 70? No, down $70. 14.7% is what it says there on your chart. So yeah, nice trade there.
Thank you.
Good job getting involved in an earnings name. Definitely in play on the day today, and still kind of bleeding off here. Maybe it's poised for that 405 as well as of right now. So great trade. Are you $10 in the money on that one?
No. Well, okay. So I started at 416. So I'm like $7 in the money, maybe $8. But like I said, my thing too is I don't like to think of it, and I just mentioned that was in terms of risking $6 in that long. I don't like to think of this like RR. I don't want, you know what I mean? That's not. That's never really been my approach. My approach is the trade worth it? Will I risk when it's worth it? And if, like, for example, again, I thought about something you and Jose talk about a lot, and I do want to. I know we keep talking about Jose, but shout out to Jose. Great, like 6'5" tall gentleman who's in the back, who's really cool. But anyways, so we'll talk a lot about real risk. And I literally heard your guys' voice in my head, like real risk on this trade.
You have to give it real risk. We always talk about giving it real risk.
Was 414.50. So then, guys, I think what you do is you look at your chart and you think, when am I absolutely wrong? Not when, I might get scared of the trade. Look at your chart. When are you absolutely, without a doubt, incorrect? For me, for Ferrari, on this long, I was not absolutely without a doubt incorrect until it broke past this wick area, right? And that's why I didn't move my stop until we made a definitive higher low at 416. So with that, I challenge you. I don't want to give homework because that's weird, but I'm just saying, like, go look at a chart and maybe consider placing your stops instead of where you feel like you might want to get out. Instead of maybe putting it break even, get a little bit more comfy, get a little bit more loose with it. Like, think, where am I absolutely wrong? Because you don't have a reason to leave the trade until you are absolutely incorrect. And that is I think that I've learned a lot from talking to you guys and just being on this floor, soaking up all this knowledge, and I'm just, forever grateful for. There are some people in the chat too saying like, longs may be better for the market, or people saying, just never, if you're long to short, never flip. I don't like I know I love rules, but I don't really like never, I'm not Justin Bieber. I'm not going to say never say, I guess I will say never say never.
Sometimes say never.
Here.
Maybe say
But yeah,
maybe sometimes.
I think I will say though, I'm a believer in not these absolutes, but in having rule systems that help you make decisions. So instead of saying, oh, I'm never going to split from a long to a short, sometimes you don't want to flip just to flip. But in this case, as I said, if my rule for this trade is 416 is the over under, and then we break 416, especially the spectacular way that we broke 416, then absolutely I'm going to get on the short. So there we go. That is my take. I know I keep yapping here, let's yap about app now. Prawnette in the chat asked me what my thoughts are on app. I still think it's in a no trade zone, so I'm not going to trade it. I like the idea of a breakout of VWAP, but that didn't really happen. I like the idea of a rejection of VWAP, but right now that didn't really happen. It just chopped and it's done nothing. And I want to address this long because I stand by this long. Like I said, I thought it was going to break out VWAP, but also sometimes, like you see these topping tail wicks, right? I've noticed sometimes, and I don't know why this is, but specifically in spready stocks at levels like VWAP, you get these top wicks and they actually, they kind of fake you to being bearish and they're actually bullish. So that, plus the movement we were getting on the tape, is what gave me the impetus to try the long. It didn't work, but no skin off my back. I'm gonna shake it off and I'm gonna keep grinding. What are you looking at? I see your old friend.
My old friend is still on my main screen, but the truth is there. I'm typing in the chat. I'm looking for opportunities. Amazon was a nice bounce as well, but guess what? Google. I've been saying this over and over again, and I'm stalking Google right now and trying to look for trying to goggle at the next opportunity here potentially. So maybe that's setting up here as we start to catch a bit of a bid here on goggles. So let's participate a little bit in this one. Boom, boom, boom. 240, 36s. So let's quickly kind of pull that up on the main screen, get this chart out of the way. We don't really need that one. Yeah, Jay's saying I already missed the Google, but hey man, it's okay. I don't have to pin the bottoms. I just have to get with the flow, dude. It's not that big of a deal. And sure, up here I might be sizing a little bit less, but we'll see. If it gives me the opportunity to take a little bit more, I'm more than willing to participate and take a little bit more again. So I think that's the mental there. Let's see, throwing a bit of a stop here. You know what? Derek was talking about real risk. Thank you for reminding me. I got to give this thing real risk.
Give it real risk, Obi.
So as of right now, buyers came in through here. So the real risk is all the way down to here. So if I feel uncomfortable risking a whole dollar, probably means I'm a little oversized. So that's something to watch out for. I'm gonna throw that stop in and see what this thing does. Unusual seller. Pretty much throughout the day, we're catching a little bit of a bid as of right now. It's 11:46. Let's see if there's follow through. There was a bit of structure here that kind of cracked and failed. Broke down. That was on top of 240, so good confluence on that structure hold or on that level hold, building structure on top of it, and then stopping people out as sellers, still very much in charge through the 240 and bringing it down to 239 as well. So now that we reclaim that break of structure and maybe breaking this downtrend as well, I am 100% sure that if you put a moving average, a tighter one, 8, maybe even starting to push up into the 21 now. I don't know how extended this thing is, but it's definitely starting to test and break the 8 moving average. So however you want to define the trend, whether it's with a trend line, whether it's with a moving average, whether it's with structure, it's breaking all of those. And any participant that's playing off of those indicators is probably thinking the same as well. Therefore, a confluence of buyers may or may not show up on the break of multiple trend definitions. So we'll see how that one kind of pans out. VWAP all the way up here at 41.5. We'll see if that can potentially come in. But this is what I mean. Some of the best ones go instantly. Sure, you don't have to have the bid all the way down here, but guess what? Unless you're watching the tape and you're staring it down, you're probably not going to see a distinct difference in the chart. So yeah, sometimes you do got to do a little bit of a chase if you want to call it that, but it's a bit of a size down. If it gives me the opportunity to take more, I'm more than willing to participate. That's, you got to stay nimble. You got to stay humble as well in terms of just like, sometimes I'm just like, I'm not in enough size, and I find myself aggressively pushing into it, skewing my average, therefore not being able to give myself the opportunity nor the trade the respect for it to actually work. So here comes 241s. Let's pull up I just noticed that this is PayPal tape here. So we'll pull up the goggle tape. We'll throw on a size filter so we can see any big boys that are sitting up on the book. So 240.90 is currently trading at. So instantly push right there. And 41s, there it is, 42s. Let's see if that can potentially come in. I see that you are enjoying the race to the bottom.
I am, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest, guys. There is a probability, you know, just how spready tickers work. This thing is going to bounce at 400. I still have a piece left. I have like a quarter of the position left. I'm not messing with the 400. If it breaks, it breaks. When I look at the daily chart, I honestly don't have too much reason to worry about 400. And why is that, you may ask, Obi? Because look, here's where the real support is. It's like 390. So why would I get it at 400 when this has a potential to go a little bit lower? So I'm going to chill. I am going to thank everybody for being here with us. I'm honestly so grateful for this opportunity every time I get to be on the midday again, because it's just such a treat to be back here with you guys. And you know, sure, I said earlier I was a little nervous. I had to get used to it again, but this amazing community keeps me in the thrill of the race. And you know, Obi, I dare I say it, make my heart beat fast, Ferrari. Not the trading, because we stay calm when we trade.
Who's that song by?
I don't even know. It used to play when I worked at Bikini Village.
Oh.
A piece of Adara lore. I worked retail for many years, including at a bikini store. So shout out to them. But their playlist was mostly like if you go to a mall and you hear music, that was the playlist. But that's how I heard that song.
Like a generic, like.
Oh, so generic.
Yeah.
And sometimes really weird. But we had a couple super chats we missed, so let's get into this.
Okay, yeah.
$5 super chat from Vanu Gunda addressed to you.
Do you want to pull it into the screen so we can see?
Oh.
Yeah, you can just pull that window in.
Thank you. I haven't done this in a while, guys. I'm a little rusty. So thank you very much to Vanu Gunda, actually asking you specifically to look at Serve Robotics. It did pull back a decent amount from day's high. While you get that set up, though, do you mind if I address the second super chat? There is no try. Guys, I just watched the first 6 Star Wars movies, so I love that name, because there is only due. And we will look at NBEX for you with that $2 super chat. Thank you very much. There's no try. Yoda was my favorite, guys. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed Yoda. And then I also enjoyed the prequels more than the originals. And I will.
Do you know who Grogu is?
That's the baby one, right?
Yeah. Have you seen that one? Have you seen the Mandalorian?
I haven't seen the Mandalorian, but when I went back to my parents' house, my sister had a little mug of Grogu, and I kept stealing it because I was like, this is too cute. NBEX, what is this ticker on? Is this on like Amex? So I want to make sure I find it for you. This might be a Sharif special, because I have a feeling this might be a small cap, and I can't find it. So please let me know. Or NBEX, there is no try. Can you please don't do another super chat? You can just tag us with what index this is in to make sure the ticker is right. I want to make sure I'm looking at this properly for you. So there we go.
But yeah, no, NVDA not a stock. Let's see. Did you catch David's super chat here as well?
Oh yeah, I read that one. Yeah, that was a good one.
David saying Neil and Sean said to 4 times your size, Parents Awakens play just a few units short AMD. Nice. Yeah. When here's the thing, man. When at the end of the day, I understand that they are our managers in a sense, risk managers for sure. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to manage your own risk. At the end of the day, like sure, Neil and Sean are my managers, but at the same time, I am my biggest manager, because there should be no reason for one of them to be like, hey, what are you up to? Back in the day, I still remember though, classic times when we still had the floor right here in the back. How many times? I mean, I know you've experienced this multiple times as well. Just like Brankles would stand up, because you know what? Sometimes I don't like using a stop. And
he's a member of no stop loss game. Sometimes,
not always. I've started to use stops a lot more, but I do still believe that there are certain kinds of trades that you don't want to necessarily give it a stop loss, but you still want to maintain your daily risk limit. That can be technically be your stop. Or if you want to be like, this is a crazy opportunity, I'm giving it 2 days worth of risk. Sure, whatever. You still have to maintain your risk. So certain trades, I do think that they don't really deserve. But funny enough, going back to the story, there would be times where so the manager can see whether you have a stop loss or not, right? In the manager blotter, and so Brankles would get up and stand up. He'd be like, "Obi, you have a stop in that? Put in a stop," and like aggressive yelling for a good reason. I'm holding the bag. I'm holding it against me. I feel zero pain. Sometimes, but they're just like, dude, who hurt you? How are you able to hold these positions so far against you? I'm like, because I trust in the trade. But I could be but here's the thing, that's a whole different concept. But I've done much better over time to kind of pull that back in. And sometimes, yeah, you might see me holding the bag a little bit, but more often than not, I'm getting much better with holding the bag on the right kind of stuff and letting go of the bag on the stuff that's very obviously thing. Yeah, internet's gonna go out one day. Mr. Easy Street saying that. Here's a funny thing. Trading at home one time, and there's some construction going on at my house. So this guy. So they were working in the basement, and my modem, my main modem, is in the basement, and it wires all the way up throughout the house. So I'm sitting in my room upstairs, and all of a sudden I get into a position, and I didn't even put. So I'm putting in the stop. That position did have a stop in. So I get in the position. I go in to put in the stop, and nothing happens. And I'm like, oh boy, what's happening? Nothing's going through. Everything's frozen. I look down. No internet connection. I'm like, oh my God.
That's so scary.
I have risk on, and now I don't have a stop. I have no clue what the stock is doing. So first thing I do, I get up, I run to the modem, because I'm like, first thing, I check the wire at the back of my PC. I run 2 floors down to the modem in the basement, and I'm just like, okay, well, what happened? This buddy pulled out the modem to plug in a light. He pulled out, he's like, I needed this
Why
lamp.
would you even do that?
And I'm like, okay, fine, I'm not gonna get in the way of your work, but you're getting in the way of my work. So I was like, give me 2 seconds. I looked at my position. I'm like, it's doing okay right now. So I just gave him I brought him what are they called, power bar, and I'm make sure you do not remove this modem from the power bar and use your lamp with whatever. And yeah, sure. People would have. You're saying that I would have lost it. I would have gone mad. Yeah, no, I tripped out. I didn't get mad at the guy. I'm like, whatever. It's out of my control. You got to remember, at the end of the day, guys, things you can control versus things you cannot control. You got to manage your emotions based off of that. So regardless, what I could control was I could supply the liquidity to him. I could be like, you need an outlet, I'll give you that. Yeah. Plug this back in, ran up back to my desk, and I'm like, we're still in position, everything's still good, it's working. Throw in that stop, move on to the next trade. So that has definitely happened to me before. And oh boy, while we had story time, guess what's happening? Thank you very much. Boom. Google. The reversion has come.
Yep.
The reversion is here.
Congrats.
Supported also by the bid in the market, the Nasdaq and the ES. Now the question becomes, why don't I have more? It's always the question I'm asking. Why don't I have more? And yeah, it's funny enough, Wayne this morning, he was just like, well, have you tried taking more shares? And I'm like, yeah, maybe I should try
That's
that.
That's such a Wayne response.
Yeah, exactly, right? No, I love when he's always keeping it real. That's why I respect him so much.
No, literally one time I was like, because he gets so confident. I'm like, yo, Wayne, I'm legitimately asking you, because he's so good at what he does, and he just will size like crazy. And I'm like, how do you get confident? He's like, you just have to win. He's like, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. And I was like, I love his honesty there. I want to get back to these super chats, Obi. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you very much. There is no try. Great to hear. It's NEBX is the ticker. I'm going to be honest, guys. The volume here is only 280,000 shares. It is a little bit tricky from a day trade perspective, but it is at day's high. I'll look at the daily because maybe on a swing perspective. Okay, daily Obi. I actually like this. Daily, it's on a nice little uptrend. I think, it makes, let's see if it takes the 92 high, but I'm going to be honest, it's hard to analyze this when I just think from an intraday perspective, it is a bit harder to trade. Now, I will be honest, and this comes to being able to manage your own risk. I will take trades on stocks, specifically spready stocks that I'm comfortable with, mostly Eli Lilly and Netflix. I will trade stocks that have done 200, 300,000 shares in a day, but only in the morning, because if they've done that little later in the day, I don't want to touch it. But only in the morning, and only if I'm reading the book and they're spready and I'm really comfortable with what they're doing. Something like this, the book is not that spready and it's not really giving me tons of conviction that this will continue. So probably not something I would be taking a look at here. Someone mentioning the meta reversion. I don't see it yet. I kind of see an uptrend still, but I will look at this. And then Howard, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Adira upfront equals improvement. Super smart trader. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me, and I'm very grateful to be here. And did you want to look at serve robotics? There still was that super chat asking you about serve.
Thank you for reminding me. I'll take a look at that here. I was a little busy looking at Google, and I was like, all right, well, came in a VWAP, unplanned trade. It fell into my lap. That's how I like it. It was just like I'm sitting there, I'm doing nothing. I want trades that have a high probability in my head and in my playbook and in my opinion of going right away. And I'm trying to find those kind of opportunities. Now, it doesn't always work like that. Not always that clean. This was very clean, but I talked about why I was stalking this one. I was stalking this one because it had there was an unusual seller, and in my playbook, there's a class of trades which of course have multiple subsets as well. But there's a simple like a category class of trades where it's called, first of all, unusual participant, right? And then underneath that unusual participant, there's unusual buyer, and then there's unusual seller as well. So today, this was an unusual seller reversion, trend break reversion back to the mean here. And if you want to know an unusual buyer, oh boy, this was a trade that I missed yesterday. And again, it was pointed out by a lot of people as well. And I think a few of us on the floor definitely had this trade as well. Look at this. QBTS with a held bid yesterday. So strong sellers all day. This kind of action stands out right away. That, my friends, is what a held bid looks like. So unusual participant, category, unusual buyer, trade, level hold, failure to hold. Level hold, failure to hold. So level hold fails. So there, obviously, someone's buying this thing up. Crazy buying. I think Buddy was sitting on 34.15s back to back after this aggressive selling. Right, we're puking. QBTS is potentially. There's a lot of bags on this. If you guys follow Cal McGee, he talked about how he lightened up on his quantum positions as well. So a lot of retail that follows along might be kind of participating in that idea as well. Regardless of however you want to think about it, what is the price action and what is the chart telling me? The chart is telling me that there is a buyer. The price action and the tape is telling me that there is a reserve bid, held bid sitting here at 34.15s, and look at what happens when Buddy is finished buying. So that buyer finishes and instantly, maybe not instantly dump, but within the span of the next 30 minutes, we drop down almost another 5% off of that held bid. So yeah, unusual participants in the market, I definitely want to stalk them, first of all, and number two, I definitely want to formulate trade ideas and then playbooks in and around some of those unusual participants. So I think that's a good thing to look out for. That's what's been helping me as well. So hopefully you guys find some value in that. What do you got going on today?
Well, I was just looking here. Someone asked me in the chat, what was your best trade ever? So I thought that would throw it to Cowboy Cheeseburgers, I think, and I like that. And I do want to, again, my thing is, someone said earlier, guys, I'm really not trying to gloat or anything. That's never my goal. And I hope it doesn't come across that way. And I do apologize. But because this question I really wanted kind of made me think about this trade. And I think it's always important sometimes, too, to look back at trades where you did really well or trades where you did really badly. And why did you or did you not? And Obi, you actually sat next to me when I took this. This was on the 1 year anniversary of me at the floor, August 30th, 2024. You and I were on the midday. We were both wearing green. And this long on Lululemon, earnings day one.
Amazing memories.
Yeah, I do have. Wow. I should address this for people who don't know.
That's a year ago. And it's like, look at how beautiful that trade is. Right side of the V, getting with the flow, and then selling into the strength, eventually pretty much clipping the top as well.
Yeah, so it was 3-minute prior bar lows, and this was actually mental stops too, which again, at the time, I had not come up with the stop loss putting system. I do not necessarily recommend mental stops, but I think if you have the kind of, mental where you're comfortable doing that, then I think it's up to you. But either way, so I got in here, as Obi kind of said, we have this hold here around the VWAP. I was looking at the order book as well because this is spready. I added VWAP, and then I just held and I waited for the breakout. I will argue I took out a piece too earlier at 259, but the book was stalling, and I also liked this wick here. I thought it made sense. Then you hold here until 262. I think my ultimate goal was 266. But yeah, we have an Oh, you're ready to go. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll get into the trades I'm currently in a minute, but I did want to address that question from Cowboy Cheeseburger thank you for bringing it up. How are you doing?
Guys, so are you guys looking for a futures trading platform that actually delivers without hidden costs? With plus 500 futures, you get free live charts, transparent fees, low margins, and an unlimited demo so you can practice until you're ready to trade live. Open an account and start trading with as little as $100 with Plus 500's powerful platform. You can access a wide range of futures markets, S&P 500, Nasdaq, Bitcoin, gas, Forex, metals, crypto, and more all in one place. Plus, enjoy a welcome bonus of up to $200 in commission-free trading. Just scan the QR code on screen to apply for your account today and join over 30 million users worldwide who have already chosen Plus 500. All right, so yeah, goggles. Yeah, it popped up a little bit further, and I'm like, maybe I should be waiting for that VWAP. Realistically, the trade is reversion to VWAP. So technically, if I want to follow my rules, I have to have at least a predetermined percentage of my position posted on top of VWAP. Did I do that? No, I didn't. Bit of a fail, but yeah, there you go. So that's coming into fruition as 241 halves. But here's the thing: I already had this posted just in front of VWAP, so close enough, but no cigar there on that one. Got to be precise. Not perfect, but as precise as possible. So that's what I like to kind of try to push for. And oh boy, there is one stock taking a path to the upside.
Oh, yes.
And that is UiPath. You can see this here. Nice little push up in the after hours, consolidating on top of 16s, breaking out of pre-market highs, pulling back into 1670s, and then pushing even higher into 1774s. So yeah, beautiful push there. I liked this. I was watching it in and around here on this VWAP hold, and I was like, all right, can we kind of hold this structure and push forward? Here's the thing, man. This stock tells you that it's not clean. The behavior. This is kind of a prime example of what happens when kind of a prime example of listening to the chart, right? The chart is telling you that it has choppy action. It's not clean. It doesn't have clean, strong trends. The trends chop up a lot. So when you have aggressive pushes and things are chopping around, maybe on a bigger magnitude, you can see those legs and those candles are pretty extended. You got to give it some room. But keep an eye on overall structure. You can see the bid was there in the after hours. You can see we sustained some of those after hour chop consolidation levels as well on top of 16s. And this is proof right there. There's proof in the pudding right here when we wick down to 1620s and then buyers step right back in and being like, oh no, we're not going to let you go any lower than that. And then like just swipe all the way back up into 17. So, okay, maybe you're not involved on that, but that's your first indicator of both volume and price action telling you that, hey, buyers are here. Now you have to maybe look for structure holds and other places to get into for that continuation. And I think VWAP, as it's shown you here in the pre-market, off of the open, in the middle of the day, during the midday as well, that VWAP has been the place to buy. Sure, it kind of violates it, pulls back a little bit. That's where structure comes in handy because at the end of the day, VWAP's just a line on the chart. Not as heavy weighted at times versus structure, in my opinion. But again, that's all up to you, right? However you want to weigh your indicators, you weigh them as you please. So market with a little bit of a bid. Path, I think who was at someone in the chat, Dangerous in the chat saying, Obi, take a look at weekly on the path. It's fire. Yeah, man. I've been watching this one. This thing is straight fire to the upside. Beautiful breakout action happening through that 16 level. And that's kind of what came in, right? Go back. Prior highs were 16s, right? We came in, guess what? 16 and broke in the after hours. That's why we're holding. I mean, maybe that's not what, that's why, but that resistance turned into support, adding to the confluence of the 16 hold. So here's the thing: if I know all of those factors coming into the open, and I'm like, all right, the trade is if we sustain above 16, if buyers step up above 16, I want to participate, I want to get involved. looking for the tape turns and the buyers coming in on the tape off of the opening range and on VWAP, I think is a great way to participate in that kind of a continuation idea on that. But it's all in retrospect. SoFi, let's see. Didn't you get out of that Google a bit early? Mike Dundee saying, sure, you can say that, but in my head, I took what I thought was the highest probability chunk and I moved on. So it is what it is. It can very well continue to push higher, and that could be the next trade. It could be like a VWAP, consolidation hold. It's already broken trend. We start to revert on the bigger picture. Sure, that's a different bit of a trade, but you can see it's kind of chopping around this VWAP right now. I'm going to take a look at SoFi and then pass it back to Dara here. So SoFi, let's see what you guys are talking about. Yeah, maybe poised for a bit of a 2870 test. That was a bit of a supply zone yesterday and the day before, and it seems like we're kind of grinding up into this area going into the end of the week. So it should be interesting. I don't really see anything here. This is a grinding trend, kind of a chop to the upside. Maybe you're getting into some cheeky longs here on the structure hold of opening range triple tops. I don't know. However you want to describe it. Hey yo, what do we got? What do we got?
Oh, am I gonna be able to eat that?
Is that some chicken?
Yeah, it's some chicken. Look
Chicken?
At that, like,
Is it spicy?
Or something.
Okay,
Oh,
nice.
that's-
That's
I
looking
can't do
good.
that.
Let us know how it is, man.
Oh, brother. So
Let us
I'm
know.
already giving it a solid rating out of 7 out of 10.
He's saying 7 out of 10.
But
He
you haven't
hasn't even
eaten that.
tasted
I haven't
it.
even ate it
It
yet.
hasn't
I was
even
going by
touched.
the way as
It
well.
haven't even touched the taste buddies
Yeah.
yet.
So
Come on.
We're rocking and rolling, man. Getting the proteins in.
Oh boy, yeah, that's looking
That
good.
kinda
Man.
smells spicy.
You're making me hungry. It smells like it's got a little bit of spice, but you know, nothing wrong with a kick. But right. I'm sorry. I know Dara has a bit of a low tolerance for spice, and that's okay. That's fine. Yeah. Funny thing, I like to go to during undergrad. Me and my buddies, we used to go hit up all the wing spots in town and be like, who has the spiciest wings?
Yeah.
So I remember, I'm sure you haven't tried, but there's like Armageddon and stuff like that. So
No,
like polar
never.
opposites is what I'm saying on the scale of spice tolerance for sure. But yeah, how's that race looking like?
Yeah, I mean, okay, here's the thing, Obi, and I really want to talk about this. So, guys, here's the thing. So I saw this bounce, and I was kind of like, okay, this is pretty big bounce. Why did I not get out? I did move my stop, I will tell you that, but where did I move my stop to? Let's talk about it. So I look at this, and I want to do 15-minute prior bar high, but I have a rule. If the 15-minute prior bar high blows out the second the new 15-minute candle opens, I don't want to use it because I cannot trust it anymore, right? And I think a lot of times, too, what they like to do is they know people use these prior bars, right? So you know what they do? They intentionally push the price right as the bars change, and then it calms down. And I've gotten wicked out of way more trades than I can count that way. I'll be honest with you guys, way more trades than I can count. So what do I do instead? I take a look at this here chart. And I say, chart, my good friend, mon ami, mon amigo. Sorry, this Spanish accent's not good. What I do here is I look, where are areas of support or resistance previously that could flip? And the obvious one for me was 412.50s. So I set my stop just above that. Guys, look where we wick, and I'm going to check TradingView. The wick high on that was, oh my gosh, I don't know why Sean's mouse does not like me. It's like we're having a horror movie relationship here. Okay, 412.25. So my stop ended up being 50 pennies away, more or less, from where that area was. So that's the thing. I think sometimes discretion is huge, right? And with that in mind, I didn't add to the trade because it wasn't like I was something where I felt like I could add, but I wasn't obsessed with adding. Oh, sorry, I'm really struggling getting this mouse to like me. And I'm trying to switch time frames here, and it's like slow motion. I feel like I'm in the Conjuring movie. I saw the most recent one, and I was kind of unimpressed. But so anyways, I'll talk about the other trades I'm in, because I am in 2 other trades. I definitely haven't talked about this one. So you might have seen a CrowdStrike short flash across my screen. I took a proud 10 pennies on this. No, I'm joking. It wasn't intentional. It was a typo. I wanted to go long. I went short. I immediately punched out, and then I checked with the spread. I was like, yo, 10 cents. I'm joking. We're not proud of that. But then I got back in the long. I did size down slightly because my thing is usually if I fat finger, maybe I'm not in like 100% mental, right? Maybe I'm a little bit shook up. And as we mentioned, I am short biased, which means a lot of times if I'm trying to get into long, sometimes I'll accidentally type short first. And that's what happened. When I tried to trade AMD long yesterday, I wanted that 214 break so badly I could taste it. And then I punched short. And I was like, oh my God. So I get out of the short and I try to punch long, and AMD, if you guys saw AMD yesterday, you know what it did. It just skirted to the upside, so I missed it. But anyways, why do I like this long? I mentioned earlier I liked CrowdStrike as a breakout of the 510, and I said I was willing to get it at 502. I just didn't find this chop super clean. The one area you could have done was a VWAP break, but the volume on this was kind of negligible, to use a Sharifism, so I didn't want to force it. What I'm doing right now is I'm risking to basically this consolidation low. And what I'm trying to do is take out this high. I will add, if we break 510s, likely I will add. Okay. Mouse, come on. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Yeah, the mouse can get a little bit finicky sometimes.
Yeah.
It like sticks to the pad sometimes.
Yeah, like what cheese are you finding? Why are you running away from me?
Oh boy.
But last but not least here, let's talk about, it's not Mickey Mouse. A shout out to oh boy, because you know Mickey Mouse also says oh boy.
Yeah, I think
oh
so.
Boy.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
yeah, so shout out to that. But guys, I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope you guys are too, because it's always legitimately a treat and an honor to be here with you guys again. And like I said, sometimes you get your sea legs back. Shout out to Little Mermaid. But then when I'm back here talking to you guys, it's like I never left. So why did I get short AMD here? RIP to my very ill-fated AMD shorts earlier. Okay, so look at that VWAP reject. We keep making lower highs in and around VWAP. And the first time, we kind of cut above VWAP, then we came back down. Second time, we could not get to VWAP. Third time, I say, hey, AMD, let's play ball. Shout out to the Blue Jays. So what I'll do here is I'll get in the low, the low of this bar. I'm risking to basically around VWAP. I'm not adding, I have no reason to. I'm going to take a piece off at the consolidation low, because here's my theory, guys. My theory is if AMD is going to continue to behave the way it's behaving,
it's changing behavior. Like, it's changing the nature. We were talking about this. I think Joe and Jose and I, we were talking about this yesterday. It's like if it's poised for pushing up to like 500 or anything like that, like a double up of a market cap or anything like that, it's already starting to exhibit the kind of price action.
PXCD just opened too, sorry.
Okay, let's go. You want to cover that one? IPO open, let's go.
Thank you, Chase the Packs, for letting us know here in the chat. I did have it on my side computer monitor, but I just didn't see the pop, so I do appreciate that in the chat. I will finish my thought after, guys, because people who are asking, is the PXCD did open a couple minutes ago, or this is the 3-minute candle, so where did it go? Yeah, 1 minute ago. Great push up here. So the VWAP, as you can see, is around 37.80. We opened at 37.75. IPO price was $32, if you remember. And volume here around 600,000 shares. Low was 37. So we swipe lower, then we push higher. High of this is $40. We're gonna have to wait and see if it gets 40. I'm gonna keep this up here. And if you don't mind staying on my screen, Andre, just so people can see the IPO while I talk. But yeah, I think like you said, I think the change of behavior is key. Again, AMD's not really giving us that it's going to give us that parabolic push yet. Right. I'm not saying it will never happen, but are we going to push 40? I'll put the book up too so you guys can see the book. We broke 40. Congrats, anyone who's long. PXCD, this seems very volatile and very wet. And thank you so much to Diraj Gurapati for the $50 super chat. Thanks, Obi and Adara, for your amazing work. Thank you, guys. I saw Haley as well with a kind comment in the chat. I really appreciate it. Guys, I'm, again, so grateful. But yeah, with regards to AMD, you were talking about, this isn't really maybe as parabolic as we want it to be. I'm going to keep PXCD here in the background where we talk AMD. But AMD, like Obi, right now the behavior on this is lower highs, lower lows, and it's rejecting VWAP. So with that in mind, that's why I was like, okay, if it's going to keep doing this, my thought is I'll take some profit at the low, but if it comes back, makes another lower high at VWAP, I'm going to add, right? That was my plan with that. Zero spice in the lunch, says Joe. I'll believe it when I smell it. But what I will say as well, and I want to, Jag mentioned this question in the chat, so I want to answer this for Jag. With regards to bias, do you change your bias? Do you keep your bias all day? I said earlier, and I do want to shout out Steve M as well, because he mentioned it too, I have a lot of, conviction with regards to how I feel. But I think too, you've got to have strong opinions loosely held. So if something switches up or something, changes how I feel, I'm going to trust that. But if I'm following my rules, my conviction is only going to change if my if-then statement for the trade changes. So again, for AMD, if it stays below VWAP, then I will keep shorting it at VWAP projections. If it breaks above that wick, then I will get out. CrowdStrike, oh, thank you, oh my gosh, CrowdStrike, OB, look, this broke out. CrowdStrike, if this keeps breaking out, then I will stay in it. If it breaks below that consolidation low, then I do not want it anymore. And then RACE, this one is basically just, if it breaks below, or keeps breaking lower, then I still want it. If it breaks above 412.30 or that area, then I don't anymore. So again, if then statements for the trade, Jag, that's how I view my bias. It's like bias within the context of of the trade, and your bias is going to change throughout the day, and it should change throughout the day. And I think if it doesn't, then the trade is probably just straight directional. I don't know how you feel about that, though.
No, I think so. I think you want to see it happen. You want to see it happen right away. That's a good concept there. That was it PXED.
Yeah.
Kind of shaking around there on top of that $40 level. I think IPO price. I don't know what the IPO price was, but the open.
It was 32 was the IPO price.
32 was the IPO price, so it did open above at 38. 38 is the opening price on PXED, and trading a little bit higher here, pushing into 41s. But guys, I got some exciting news for you Canadian sophisticated traders. Beta Pro by Global X Canada has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs, offering 3 times bull and bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60 semiconductors and U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st of this year, 2025. These ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek to neutralize U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equity indices. If you are a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3xdaily to learn some more. Oh boy. All right, so Google, the question becomes now, so we asked some questions earlier, and then we saw some price action, and then we participated in that price action, right? So now, where's the next question? Well, I'll tell you what my next question is. It seems like
Tell us.
The question, first of all, PXED, I don't know how far that could go. A bit of a miss on my part for not really studying up on this IPO, but yeah, you're right. 32 price, opened above. And then here's the thing that deterred me, man. Offer amount, actually, there's an $800 million IPO today called Alliance Laundry for $22. Did these guys? You know what? No. The boys were talking about this.
Wait,
They're an actual laundry company that is IPOing for $800 million. Talk about a wash.
Yeah.
There on
Hopefully
that one. Oh boy.
Money,
yeah, exactly. Hopefully there's no laundering going on there. ALH, I don't know if that's open just yet. Is it open? No. So maybe that's the one I definitely want to keep eyes open for. An $800 million IPO for a laundry company. You know what? We're going to do some research, and I kind of like this alphabet. If the seller's going to step back in at VWAP, I kind of want to participate with them. Oh boy, that 44s. Yeah, this PXED, man, that thing's going. But 135 million notional. Sure, maybe opening above prices. Maybe it's coming into some factors that I wasn't necessarily looking at. But at the same time, it's only done 1 million volume, and we've been in
we addressed that one.
The open for about 6 minutes. So. We'll see. So I guess, Dheeraj, thank you very much. Saying thanks, Obi and Nadera, for your amazing work. Thank you, Dheeraj, for the super chat there. And thank you all as well for joining us and joining us here today and watching the show as we have some crazy movers in the market. 38 IPO. Oh boy. All the way to 46s. This thing's almost up $10. I'm sorry, what? Talk about a low liquidity wipe up, but let's get back to work. So what's more important to me right now is right here. So how do you guys figure out what the next IPOs are? Well, I'll let you know. You just go on the good goggles right here and you search IPO calendar, and that's usually the first link. The Nasdaq.com will give you IPO calendar, and it'll let you know what stocks are potentially IPOing today with the specific date. So today is the 9th. There are 3 or 4 IPOs happening today. So PXED, we're watching that one. ALH, it'll also tell you right here how much the offer amount for the IPO is. Look at the distinct difference of PXED being at $136 million, given a price of $32, and then ALH with $826 million for the offer, coming out at a price of 22, about 37 million shares. So I'm obviously expecting that to be a little bit more liquid. Whereas PXED is halted up. Oh my God. Wow.
This is crazy.
Okay, all right. I mean, you know what? I've come to learn that I'm not going to put anything past this market, and the craziness and the frothiness ceases to surprise me.
It's frothy like laundry.
There you go. Maybe that's the froth we should be waiting for today, is the ALH. But yeah, halted up. This is definitely a meme market. A lot of people are describing this market as potentially even more euphoric, with crazy moves, describing it like the .com boom, which is again very interesting as well. We're living in with some amazing times. TD Baker, thank you for the super chat. Awesome job, Adara and Obi. You guys can be Sean O'Neill's wingman any day for me.
I like that.
Thank you, TD Baker, for the super chat. Jag saying we should have a pun competition now until the end of the show. I don't know. No. I don't know about that. I did not prep for that, and I'm very likely to lose. So the thing is, I only take what I think are high EV, high probability bets, and I don't think that's a very good bet to take. Even though I do think that with a little bit of preparation, I would give you a run for your money. But as of right now, I don't know.
Oh, so you're saying you're not betting on yourself. You're betting on me, is what you're saying.
No. I'm saying I bet on myself with reason, right?
That's fair.
I'm saying that I would bet on myself if I had put in a little bit of work and, get a little prepared for sure.
Yeah. We're going to take a moment. Thank you very much to our friends at Trade the Pool. The Trade the Pool Beat Ackman live trading competition is here. October 8th to 10th. So I guess today is day 2. Every day, Ackman makes his move. Your mission is to outperform him, beat his return, prove you've got what it takes. Then the grand finale on October 13th, broadcast live on Trader TV with the Trade the Pool team. Live in the studio, over $600,000 in prizes are up for grabs. $25,000, $50,000, even $100,000 evaluation accounts, plus surprise giveaways during the live show. So don't just watch, guys. Compete. Beat Ackman. Win big. Scan the QR code. Start trading. I just saw news come in, so thank you to our friends there, but I do have to look at GDRX because, guys, I know I'm not on the news desk, and it's weird for me too, but GDRX pushing to the upside. I do still have enough news things to keep an eye on here, guys. Where's the story drop? Okay, pause due to volatility. There's a volatility halt. Retail pharmacies and GoodRx saying that they're in talks with the Trump administration on Trump RX participation. We already heard this before, but either way, we're hearing reportedly, retail pharmacies and GoodRx are saying that they're in talks with the Trump admin on Trump RX participation. Trump himself, again, guys, he's doing his cabinet meeting right now. Unfortunately, I'm not watching it. I will definitely be catching up in the afternoon show because I love watching cabinet meetings and events like that. It's really embarrassing. I watch confirmation hearings on my spare time. But either way, I bring this up to say that unfortunately I'm not covering it for you guys live, but I do see all the commentary coming through in my very, very packed export. It's my official news export. I'm using the same stuff, the same info I'd be giving you guys at the news desk, but in a much more compact form that admittedly I'm still trying to get my eyes used to. But, you're welcome, Trump. It means a lot. Let's talk here. Trump saying that he's winning disputes with countries on drug pricing and that they've made pharma deals with numerous companies. So that's what he's saying there, too. And then also, apparently, with regards to government funding, that they're only going to be cutting Democrat programs. Yet lots of commentary coming from Trump, and I will be keeping an eye on that. At one point, too, he said tariffs are only bad if you're afraid of winning. I'm paraphrasing slightly, but he is enjoying his cabinet meeting. That cabinet door is wide open, and they're eating all the crackers, and I'm sipping all the tea from the cabinet meeting, albeit virtually for now. ENPH taking off, Benton C. And thank you so much, RB, for the kind words. Like, it means so much, especially after so long of not being on this, to be here. ENPH, Enphase, great look here. I think, honestly, this is the type of stock where it's kind of like that pyramid style. This is probably something where you just get in when it kind of comes to previous highs, see what it does. Like, for example, 38.80, if it kind of gives you an opportunity to get involved there. Mouse, what are you doing? Then I think, oh my, it's stuck. Then I think that would maybe be, an avenue to get in, just kind of buying the dip, so to speak. But other than that, I think it's probably a hard trade to get into here. Ferrari. Okay, I'll mention CRM first. I know I'm talking a mile a minute, but there's just so many things to look at and way too many things to check. Also, Obi, stop bragging about how good your eyesight is. I'm like negative 6.5, and my left eye has been told it will never be perfect, even with visual aids.
So I don't know where I place in the chat if you guys are trying to figure out what we're talking about. I was just mentioning, oh boy, what is that? CRM?
Yeah, that's CRM. I was just talking about some parabolic upside moves.
That's great. That's great. So we just talked about, here's the thing. This is a great example. We just talked about an unusual participant, an unusual seller on Google,
Yeah.
guess what that is? Right away, off the bat. I can take a look at the chart and just right away I'll be like, yeah, there's an unusual buyer. It's overextended. So when that buyer is done, maybe I want to participate as well. So great look on that. As soon as I see the chart, I'm like, oh boy, that's definitely something I want to keep eyes on and start stalking as well. Apple seems like the next candidate here. Okay, Netgear also moving. You want to report on that?
Yeah, if I may. Thank you, Obi. So I'm seeing a report here that U.S. is weighing action against a China-connected router giant called TP-Link. So I'm guessing this is also in the router game, and it's pushing higher in sympathy or antipathy. I do want to mention here, too, Thomas Kondo with the 199 super chat. Is BBAI coiling? Bouncing 715 to 730. Bullish? I mean, it's bearish, actually, Thomas Kondo, because it's being bear AI. But no, all jokes aside, I'll tell you if it's bullish or not. Apologies for the bad little pun there. And let's look here at Big Bear AI. I'll zoom out. Okay, so this is kind of doing what CrowdStrike did earlier, but notice I didn't get involved in CrowdStrike. And I would argue I got in CrowdStrike a bit late, but you want to see the little chop stop. To me, this is actively chopping. This is a chop steakhouse. I am not buying steak here. I'm going to wait for the ribeye until I actually see a breakout. Now, admittedly, this is not really my type of trade, but I got to be honest with you, Thomas Kondo, I think it could be coiling. You got like a quadruple bottom and then a higher low, but you have to think like something can be moving or it can be working how you want it to work, but that doesn't mean there's a trade there right now. Unfortunately, I do not believe that there is a trade in BBAI right now just due to the level of chop that is occurring. And I'm going to use an example here too. What was here? This was AMD, and I put and I want to switch that to AMD. But yeah, so AMD was a really good example, right? We had this big drop here. But I'm not going to get involved in this just because it's down, right? I want to wait till I see an entry, so I wait till the VWAP retest. With that in mind, I'm going to be honest, Big Bear, nothing's kind of screaming at me that I want to get involved yet, or that it's worth getting involved yet, so I would probably wait. I am in 3 trades. I am very proud to say they're all working. And guys, I don't want to come off as gloating or whatever, conceited, shout out to Flo Millie in any type of way. You have to know where your comfort zone is.
Tell them that as it is.
Oh. I will, Obi.
The charts kind of speak.
Yeah. Oh.
Sorry, I was muted and was coughing earlier, but no, I think you're fine. I think you just gotta the charts speak for themselves. I don't think I don't think that's the case at all. You're just saying that these are the positions I'm in, and they're going well. They're working. Yeah. They're working as of right now.
I might add to
CrowdStrike. Where is the next trade is the question, right? That's the thing. Look,
where's your next trade for you?
In the chat, you definitely. I wouldn't consider that gloating at all. But yeah, waiting for this IPO. So this IPO PXED kind of flushing to the downside. At the same time, I do want to pull up ALH. I think that's going to be on the NYSE as well. So ALH, what's the tap looking like on ALH here? You can see that. Okay, so we're tapping 2375 on ALH as well. Let me pull it up on an imbalance locator as well. Hold on one second. So yeah, let me throw it up on an imbalance locator to see what that's looking like on the IPO stage. So let's see, where's my mini one? Mini imbalance locator. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna set that up in a bit, but I'm glad we have this up. As soon as it opens up, I'm gonna have eyes on this one and maybe potentially take a couple of trades as well. I didn't borrow any shares, unfortunately. Usually ask either Sean or Neil for that, but unfortunately they will be back soon enough, but not here today. So don't really have shorts on those just yet. We'll see how it goes. We saw the PXED go absolutely crazy and halt up, maybe causing people to chase in because right after it halted up, we just slammed back in, back through its opening prices. So we've got to be careful about those. This is what I mean. It can look really attractive. It can really pull you into it with the kind of price action it's doing. It'll halt up, but don't forget the same kind of nuances that I was talking about before. Why did the ones in the past run the way that they did? Right? Because of all of those different factors. Now, this can still exhibit the same kind of behavior, especially on a low volume stock. That's easier to be pushed around if you have, the total float is, I think they said shares being offered 4 million, currently traded, I think it was around under 1 million when it was ripping up like that into the halt. So it doesn't take a lot of buying power to kind of, manufacture the move, if you want to say, in a sense. And those are the traps that you got to watch out for. If you see something nice being marketed to you and you buy into that idea because of the market, you got to be careful that that market's not selling you some fugazi.
Don't buy fugazi.
That can definitely happen on stuff that's illiquid and illiquid and a little bit dangerous. And that's Quadunk right there. You heard the sound effect. That can potentially be what happens to your position. So you just gotta be wary, manage your risk well. That's all it is. See, John Del Segno saying, do you have on GDRX? GDRX open time, is that halted?
Yeah, I mentioned the news. I'll look at the thing here to see.
I don't know if it's a news halt, then there's no there.
It was volatility. It was volatility.
If it's a volatility halt,
I don't know when it's going to open though, guys. Tab is 5:44.
When's the last? Okay, I'll have to check when the last print was on that one, and then we can kind of go through that. So
also, I have AstraZeneca news. Sorry, while you do that, AstraZeneca confirming. Are announcing plans to boost their investment in its Virginia manufacturing facility to $4.5 billion. That more than doubles the scope of its earlier commitments, and they're confirming that investment is included in the $50 billion fund announced in July. And we do have GDRX. It is motoring, it is rallying, it is writhing to the upside. OB, is this the type of trade you would trade? And if you would trade it, how would that trade be traded? And I'm just saying trade to say trade now. Honestly, guys, this is not really my bag. I think this is a lot more of a Sharif type of play. But guess what? Technicals are technicals. Now, this is, I think, becomes harder, OB and chat and world.
Yes.
It's harder because this kind of did nothing before it broke out. So in these situations, and maybe I'll switch to the 1 minute, you just kind of wait to get more signals. I think I probably would if I was in this situation. Like, we gap up heavy. What's the daily chart telling me? I don't know yet. I'll take a look. Also, I'm eyeing Meta because I want a Meta 726 short, which I'll talk about in a minute. But this daily chart is sweet, beautiful. That 540, which by the way, guys, where we opened, thank you for that sound effect. That's just how I feel right now. That 540, honestly, if we can kind of hold above it, I like it. If we can't, then I think it's a little bit more arbitrary. But that is my take. Joe is continuing to enjoy the food apparently in the chat. I looked at that chat at the wrong moment and saw the food exuberant, so I'm very happy to hear that I guess the chicken was finger licking good. So shout out to that. Yeah, I'm still like, I wish I had more to kind of say here on my trades. I don't. I'm waiting for AMD to do something right now. We're kind of consolidating. I wouldn't enter here, but I'm certainly not going to leave here because I have no reason to do so. And CrowdStrike. I moved my stop up on CrowdStrike by like $1, so we're relatively break even. So now we're kind of making these higher lows. And this is a situation where if I go, okay, you know what? We're holding. I have a lot of AV up strategies. I'm not going to get too into them because they are kind of complex and weird, and I'm still testing them. They're very much in the beta phase. But what is kind of worth noting is, like, as price climbs higher, do we continue to respect these highs on like an EMA level, for example? Because a lot of this coincides with EMA. We're riding that 9 EMA like a magic carpet. We are crowd striking that EMA every time, OB. And then we're flying up like the Falcon in their logo. So with that in mind, what I want to see here is if there's any dip that I like, that I dig, that I respect. Sorry, I leaned in heavy there. On this 9 EMA, then maybe I want to add here. I moved up my stop just because I thought that support was higher. But that, I've noticed too, like one of the biggest tells for me is if I'm being I will say tilty, or if I just am being arbitrary and I'm trying to add for the sake of adding, is if I am like just looking for excuses to move my stop, right? You don't want that. If you're looking for an excuse to move your stop, it's because you are scared to be in the trade for some reason, or you don't trust yourself.
You're scared to be wrong. You're trading PNL, maybe.
You're trading PNL, you're trading emotion, but you're not trading the trade, right? So I only moved my stop up on CrowdStrike because there were higher lows, right? Like I'll give another example. Ferrari. My stop, in my opinion, is still 412.50 because I had it there because that was previous resistance. And look how well that support resistance flips. Now, I didn't add because we were holding the 9 EMA kind of, and I didn't like it as an add. Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is I didn't move my stop just to add. I moved my stop because that's where I thought I was wrong. And again, guys, I think the best, and I want to shout out Obi and Jose for this, the best place to put your stop is where are you ultimately wrong? And if where you're wrong has not changed, then don't move your stop.
You don't need to move your stop. Yeah. No, that's perfect. I'm glad that you kind of covered that because at the end of the day, it is one of your biggest jobs as a day trader, one of your only jobs is to make sure you manage your risk, right? If there's one thing that is your biggest responsibility is to manage your risk. And I think that defining where that risk specifically stands will do you wonders if you have the right idea of like, okay, yeah, this is structure, maybe this is moving average, or this is my reason to get in, and therefore my reason to get out is this. So like reasons to enter, reasons to exit is one way you can look at it. Reasons to buy, reasons to sell is one way you can look at it. But defining the appropriate risk is very, very important. For example, here, like I'm like, okay, well this breaks the trend, but I'm risking all the way down here to 239, 239 flats, and I'm getting in 240 30s. I think I got in. So I'm like, okay, that's a little bit above $1. So I have to be comfortable risking that amount, and also knowing that, okay, this is an aggressive sell in my head. What is the probability of this reverting to VWAP and then I go through like all the different iterations that it can revert through VWAP, and then planning on maybe taking more. And I even said this, I was like, if it gives me an opportunity to take more, I am definitely willing to do that if it's going to be as choppy on the way back up as it was on the way down. But guess what? It took a straight beeline to VWAP, a beautiful clean reversion after a multi-hour, couple hour of directional trend, right? On the break of trend, you get somewhat symmetrical directionality, and we didn't really see that. We saw it was almost asymmetrical, choppy sell-off, and then nice, strong, sustained bid all the way back into VWAP. So that's a different kind of iteration, and those ones don't really let you size in my opinion, as aggressively as some of the other ones, right? It's like if you're getting aggressive, I got to get aggressive in and around here on top of the 240 as it pushes in on the pullbacks, as well as some of these breakouts as well. Maybe this prior structure break as well is potentially an add, but it's not as strong of an add if we kind of pull back in, hold prior structure, and then start stepping up back into VWAP. It gives me more time, and it also provides more liquidity to kind of build into positions that are actually working, and you can maybe look for that pyramid up to VWAP, and I like that a little bit better. But sometimes when it does this kind of action, I'm just like, I have what I have. It is what it is. Sure, I'm undersized, but the trade is the trade, and I want to participate in that and not really skew my mental or perspective by being like, oh, I need more shares in this, so I'm trying to add more. I understand, like I trade like that as well, but not in this specific scenario, right? So again, it's a work in progress. Google reversion happened to work out. Where is the next trade? That's what I'm asking. Let's take a quick look at some of these baskets that I have going on. Amazon is still with a grinding bid all the way back to its highs. So let's take a quick look at these stocks while I'm talking through them. Here, where is the window? And the window is gone. Okay, so I'll pull it up here. So Phoenix Education, it kind of, like you said, took flight, but burning to ashes as of right now. Maybe it'll be reborn, but I don't know what the timeline for that is for Phoenix. What's going on?
I was just thinking, you know what it kind of looks like?
What?
That weird Phoenix back tattoo that Ben Affleck got after he divorced Jennifer Garner, right? It's like probably something that, was a great idea initially. I think it was maybe, or at least Ben Affleck thought it was a great idea.
Yes.
And then now when you take a time back, if you didn't get out of that long, it's a little, But I do want to shout out, Chase the Packs in the chat said they were long this, so it was a great long if you scalped that long. I do apologize for the pop culture reference there. I hope someone got it, or it was just for my health. But either way, I did get stopped out of CrowdStrike here, and it was funny because Noah Bevis in the chat was like, oh, Adara should have sold Crowd when she had the chance. And I replied, I was like, I don't disagree. But here's the thing. That was not my plan. My plan, as I said, was, where am I wrong? When support drops, I'll get out. Support dropped. I lost less than $1 per share on this. And again, I was not trading it for P&L. I was trading it for the idea. Albemarle was mentioned to me by Jameson. And honestly, Jameson, I like this. Now, my issue is it is still ranging for now. Look, we have, to be fair, slightly higher low. I think this is the potential to flat top break. And man, Opie, if this flat top breaks at $100, that is what we call confluence. That is very beautiful. But I don't know, this type of trade where, again, I don't really know where you get into. You get in a VWAP bounce. Well, you can't really because it's also broken below VWAP. You get in on that breakout, you could, but you'd be risking like $3. So sometimes you can like the idea. I like the idea of an Albemarle long, but it's not just the idea of the long. It's where do you get in to execute it? That being said, the story on this is simply fantastic. And oh my gosh, Obi, look at this too. This is like a longer scale recovery in Albemarle. this is beautiful. Honestly, this is beautiful. But again, it's a situation of if you're not already in it, then I do think it may be a little bit hard to enter here. So that's my take on that. And I thank you for bringing up that chart for me. Oh, we took our first profit in AMD. Let's go. We're chilling. CrowdStrike is kind of boring me. Oh my gosh, Meta, I missed my short. Okay, so I'm going to really quickly get into this Meta. Let's punch in here just below 926. Then I'm going to explain, or 726. I'm going to explain why I liked it after. But OB, what did you, oh no, I'll just punch. I don't know if I'm going to get this. What are you looking at right now, OB?
So in the chat, we're talking about serve.
People in chat were talking about Serve, so I pulled that up. Serve Robotics, taking a bit of a continuation leg to the upside. Bit of a surprise to me. I was watching it in the morning. Nice little push up through the 16 halves pre-market highs as well. Nice little consolidation, beautiful reversion. But the bid is stepping back in pretty nicely here. It took us to the day highs, but no follow through on the day high, right? That's interesting. A bit of a chop here. So there was supply here before, and on this push and break, look how aggressive that strength in that buying comes in, rips us all the way back in, and maybe knocks into some liquidity in and around that day high as well. You can see the chop was there before, chopping around once again as well. Very directional and strong bid here on Serve Robotics. Let's take a look at a higher time frame as well on this one as it pulls into some of its prior highs. So, okay. Right here, all-time highs sitting at 24.35. You can see I did trade this before, oh boy, all the way in July of 2024. Maybe a bit of a break of a higher time frame trend. Might have been the idea for a swing short. Just saying. But whenever this thing kind of breaks that uptrend, it's a nice fader. But when it does get going, you can look at it the other way as well. When it does get going, that's pretty nice as well on the long side, and just watching for that structure to kind of hold, step up, hold, step up, hold, step up. It's done that in the past. It's able to exhibit that behavior. So are we looking for more of the same? I think so. So shout out to anybody and everybody who's been kind of looking at this robotics trade. That Serve Robotics is definitely working out for you pretty nicely as of right now. Pushing up 1730s, oh boy, all the way almost to those prior levels.
Yeah, well, that was happening. I was fighting with the mouse. I don't know why this mouse hates me. I literally, like, Opie probably saw me. I was like trying to get it to move because I was trying to get into this Meta short, and my order book is on the other screen. I couldn't get in, and I couldn't see anything. Is that my? That might be. I think that's my.
I'm just.
I'll steal it.
Yeah.
But we'll get it out of the way where someone can hurt themselves. Bear Bull, I'm talking about you. Don't knock over the water. I'm losing my mind. Okay, but we got short Meta, so I'm gonna put in my stop, and then oh my gosh, mouse. Hey, what are you doing? While I do that, I'll explain why I got short Meta. So I got short Meta, guys, because I actually was willing to go either way on this. So I'm going to draw an uptrend for you on this. I'm just making sure I didn't accidentally punch out. And I'll explain what I mean. So, bloop. Okay, so look at this chart. Would you look at that, Obi? We have these higher highs, higher lows. Then we start to get almost kind of like what Ferrari did, where you have a level of support. Ferrari did this at 416, Meta did it at 426s. What's interesting to both cases, the whole dollar level. So you have this thing, right? And you have this thing. Oh my God, Adara English. You've got this level, 726, and you have this high, 729. Lower high, 728. Lower high, 727. To borrow a term from our friend Jose, decrementing, right? The bid is literally decrementing at 726. So sometimes when you get the decremental bid, it pushes up higher. So I wait to see, do we break 726s? As you guys saw, I did miss the break. Then I panicked and I was like, and then I got short 725. 50s-ish. Now, I want to address, Adara, you chased that a bit. Yes, I did. But as I said earlier with App 11, which I'll pull up again now because I haven't looked at that in a while, with spready tickers, sometimes you have to chase because a lot of times, for a stock for example, one of the things Sharif trades, or even UiPath, 10 cents is going to be a big difference, right? That could literally be making or break it. Also, App 11 is kind of chilling. Nothing that I'm in love with right now. I just wanted to pull it up to see what it was doing. But the point is with the spready ticker, 10 cents for a smaller stock is probably the equivalent of $1 or $2 in a spready ticker, right? You have to think about it as a fractal. And so that in mind, fractally speaking, 50 cents on Meta is I'm not going to care. It's do you want to add a scoop of matcha to your drink for another 20 cents? Yes, I do, right? That's the type of difference that it is for me.
Yes.
So there we go. I do apologize. I kind of speaking in shorthand. I'm chilling. I just feel very comfortable here with you all. And I'm vibing. Long open, says Aura Alpha. If you guys ever want to know way too much information about Open Door, ask this girl. Because I did spend an aggressive amount of time, oh my gosh, on social media reading about this. Aura Alpha. I am of two minds on this. My one mind is like, Adara, this is a base. This is a double bottom at 816. Which, by the way, that was a level I liked a while back on Open Door. It could be curling. My other brain is like, Atera, this is lower highs, lower lows. It could be flat top breaking. So with that in mind, why do I have two different voices? It's fine. With that in mind, guys, what you do is, I would say, much like I said earlier, in the trendline case with Google, wait until you get a clear break above the higher low. If we can't break 825s, then maybe that's a situation where like, okay, this is maybe a short, but I would kind of say that's the make it or break it level. I'll pull up my friend Mata again so I can look at it. Good boy. Let's take a look at Sava, because William in the chat was asking me about Sava. Like, apparently I had a good read on this prior. I don't remember that, but I thank you very much. That's very kind that you remembered. And SAVA, OB. This is higher highs, higher lows. And like, this is on a pretty symmetrical uptrend. I do find it kind of choppy though. I like the VWAP hold, but this 90 MA, especially with that previous support that I think could become resistance at 412, that could be a little bit swapped, right? So I don't know. We're going to have to wait and find out. This is a situation where I'd probably sit on my hands until I kind of see what happens with the 90 MA. But I'm someone that would rather enter trades a little bit late and wait for more confluence than rush into trades. You know, only fools rush in. Shout out to Elvis Presley, because I can't help but make puns with you. Okay, I'll shut up now. But yeah,
I'm very. I don't know music.
That's okay.
I apologize.
I'm not going to Elvis press you to sing it with me or anything. But I will say with
this
Sava.
This is what I'm saying. This is why I would totally lose. I did not come prepared at all.
Sava on the daily though is a nice breakout to finish that for William.
Sava's a very interesting one. Yeah, that one's breaking out on the daily pretty aggressively. I used to trade that one like a lot when I was trading from home, and I think I might have blown an account or two on it as well.
I know you traded before.
Yes, yeah. Sava. I mean, it was good. I definitely did well on it, but gave some back for sure. Yeah, I think that one's one to watch out for. Whenever it does get going, I do want to keep eyes on it. It's funny enough, Sava came on my radar. I think it was earlier this week or sometime last week. Yeah, it's been doing some relative volume as well, going up to a higher time frame. Yeah, there you go. That's why this thing is up on my radar for the past couple of weeks. We had this strong kind of push on the 23rd of September. Do you know if that was news-driven or catalyst-driven at all?
I remember some kind of news on it. I remember what
not specifically, but okay. Yeah. So there was a news catalyst that came in. That you can see that with respect to the relative volume, we've held and sustained above some of those reference prices from when that volume comes in and when the relative volume starts to transact as well. We're holding not only those levels but structures higher and higher.
William Randolph reminded me. Sorry, the news was that the CEO bought shares. Thank you, William Randolph. I knew it came post-market. I knew it was something, and you are appreciated for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, CEO buying shares, maybe getting people interested, or maybe getting shorts a little interested as well, right? Because again, there are some names that people do well taking the swing short. Now I know there's a lot of negative connotations around that, but let me ask you this: how are a lot of the IPOs doing that IPO'd this year? Right? The long was great for the intraday, but you tell me how the swing has been, right? Does it make sense to bag hold the long, or on companies that actually don't really make money, or they don't really have that kind of sentiment, or they're way too overvalued? In a sense, you think that they're mispriced, or that they're mispriced, and you are just waiting for the market to confirm that yes, this is mispriced and we're likely going to correct. So that's why I like it I really do like swing shorting, and you got to be able to be open-minded enough to go both ways. Of course, you're not going to swing short something for a couple of years. We'll leave that up to some of those funds and firms that do well in that business. But swinging short for a few weeks to a couple of months, I think is more than valid. Circle has been a great one, and again, IPOs are great as well for some of that stuff. But Cassava Biosciences, let's see what this thing's been doing on the weekly here. Oh boy, this is what I mean. Yeah, look at that, Kwadung. So it's been kind of flat over the past multiple months, and it's finally catching a little bit of a bid. So yeah, I think it's been sold off pretty aggressively, far down from where it kind of came from. This thing, I'm pretty sure it has a few splits in there as well, but breaking through some recent multi-month highs through that $3 level. And what's the high on this candle specifically is $4.99. So $4 currently that it's trading at on Cassava Sciences, with a high on the week at $4.19, so close. But that $4.99 potentially poised to come in if we do continue this trend and this bid that we've been seeing on Cassava Sciences. So I do like the name. I have participated in it before, but I think for the intraday stuff, it can be a little bit choppy sometimes. I find it a little bit smoother for swinging.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd rather be Sava than sorry. No, I'm trying to make it. Yeah, that wasn't very good. I am in 4 shorts right now, and I want to talk about them. And I want to clarify. So one of the last times I was in the midday, everyone was laughing. I was in 5 shorts at once. I felt like underwater. That was way too much. But I took the time, and I want to shout out Obi for encouraging me to do this. I took the time to kind of set up my station, albeit not very well, but I had enough of a setup ahead of time that this is a lot closer to how I trade when I'm on the desk. So I'm more comfortable viewing everything, and I don't feel like I'm like, updating trades. Plus 2 of these I've been in basically the whole show. One of them before we even went live on the show, so I'm comfy. So I'm going to do a recap of what trades I'm in so you guys can see. Ferrari. I got short 416, added at the price you can see there, 414.76. Took some profit in the push down at the euro close. And right now, again, right after that push to the downside, once the 15-minute prior bar broke, I decided immediately to move my stop at 412.70s-ish because that was the prior support. I was lucky as all heck that ended up actually being more or less where that high was. So trading on vibes a little bit, as Wayne says sometimes. Wayne on the floor, shout out to him. But either way, my stop has not moved. I'm keeping it there because I still think that's the area where I'm wrong. AMD, I was waiting for another test of VWAP so I could add back in. I took some profit, only like a quarter of the position at 232. I could have added at 232, but in my opinion, I still think that I'm wrong if we break above this 235 halves area, so I had no reason to move my stop. Either way, I'm chilling here for now. We're vibing in AMD. Now, these last 2 trades I think are a bit hairier, but I do have reasons for taking them, and I'll explain them now. These are the trades I got in more recently. Meta. Already talked about how I like that 726 breakdown. Admittedly, I got it like 50 pennies off, about 725 50s. But either way, I still think I'm wrong. If we break above that 728 high, I'm chilling here for the time being. And I'm probably not going to move my stop either unless I take a look at like a 15-minute and I change my mind. Actually, Obi, you know what? If we break that 724.88, the consolidation low, then I might move my stop to that trend line rejection around 727. I probably will. Now, crowd. Dara, you are just waxing poetic about how you like the long. What is that voice? Why are you short? Yeah, so basically, and again, this goes into a bit some of the I'm trying to make myself into a human algo. I know Sherry calls me that nickname, but actually I'm trying to do that where I have, committed systems I do. Anyways, one of my systems with regards to anchoring prices at highs a day and low of day, we were rejecting those levels on there, which is why I got short where I did on crowd. Now, that being said, how the strategy goes for me, and I'm sorry I have to zoom in so much. There must be some kind of dark pool. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make here for this strategy is I am risking to high of day, so I'm taking less shares. But what that strategy allows me to do, too, is if we break below this area, basically where I got stopped out of the long, that 508.30, if we break below that area, then I automatically move my stop to that most recent consolidation high, and I add. So some playbook stuff I'm working on, not getting to, into too many details, but that's my plan. Yeah, I don't think I'm an anarchist there, RB. Certainly not trying to crash the economy. I'm just a day trader trying to have some fun with you guys in these short trades. And thank you for letting me take the time to go through everything one by one by one. I do want to talk about our pal. Also, yeah, I'm going to put some headlines on. If you look at the position board, I'm putting some headlines down. Fed's bar has been yapping there. He's no holds barred right now, but really nothing new. Also, guys, Republican bill to end the U.S. government shutdown is failing to win enough votes to pass the Senate. Voting continues. We had, again, Mike Johnson today say that he and Trump were talking about how sad they are that the shutdown is happening. That was an update this morning. Again, the shutdown is still happening. Thank you very much for the kind words there. Delmont Vantage. I'm always pleased as punch to be here with you guys every day. There was something else. Tesla. So Tesla was just, you know, doing that 0 to 100 real quick, that roadster to the upside off VWAP. But I have to admit, this is another chart where I don't find like a super obvious entry point, right? You know what I'm trying to say here, Obi? Like,
yes.
we have higher highs, higher lows, but it's kind of snaky. It's like,
it's not as clean.
It's not as directional,
right?
Yeah, right? Like, I think
it's still chopped.
It's a little choppy.
Direction, yeah.
And I used to get really bad about getting caught in chop, so I'm trying. I feel like any setup that's choppy. Pardon?
It's like no man's land, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that's what, shout out to Lance Brightstein.
Yeah.
He's a pretty bright guy. But yeah, what are you looking at over here, Obi?
Yeah, again, I'm reading the chat here saying, I think a lot of people are like, Obi, take a position. I'm like, I'm looking for the next trade, man, and nothing's really setting up here. SMH breaking through its day low, so am I going to chase a breakdown at 1250? I don't think so. AMD selling off as well, so yeah, a little bit of a breather here. Oh boy, look at all these defined levels. No, well, we got to define some more levels here. So I defined these, and initially on day 1 and day 2, and they held up really, really well. And these are the anchors from AMD down at just below 220s. Excuse me. And we're taking a little bit of a sell-off there, breaking through opening range low, holding VWAP pretty well. So I like this idea, retracing in and around down to 230s. So like I said before, this is where we found buyers initially, after the initial pullback, after the strong bid yesterday, in and around that 230 level. If we're going to pull all the way back in and maybe try to find some liquidity, I think this is a good place to look. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be there, but it's a good place to look because the chart and the price action yesterday showed you that it was here in this area yesterday. So it's taking a little bit of a beeline all the way down, but got to remember the market is weak as well, all the way to the downside. So you can see both ES and Nasdaq at the same time making some fresh shorts. Rivian Millionaire saying, Adara, you're going to be banking on those shorts. Yeah, that's for sure. If this market continues to go in this direction and we got that market tailwind, oh boy, the shorts are definitely worth being in. Google didn't really participate in and around that VWAP. Like I said, too much of a chop, not really doing what I was looking for at VWAP. But it was doing what I was looking for in and around here, and we participated on a quick little scalp on that one. Where is the next trade? So I'm going to continue to go through my basket here. Wow, silver coming back down. So SLV, oh boy, that thing kind of giving up a little bit of its price action and then some through the prior day's lows here at $44, currently trading at 43.40s. So in the pre-market, I had eyes on because of this crazy extension all the way up to 46s. And I'm like, oh boy, if we pull back in and consolidate and push, that could be something. It did pull back, consolidate, and guess what? There was no push. VWAP sellers pretty aggressive, and a beautiful waterfall follow through of those sellers to the downside on a strong volume day on silver, right? Silver's been doing a bit of a run, and is this the exhaustion is what I'm asking. I don't know. So that's what I'm looking at right now, Darren.
Yeah, guys, I mean, no news on Apple that I could find. Trump's still talking. Charlie Taff, I don't think there was any massive market-moving news for the whole market. There are U.S. and Saudi and talks and chip deals. I'm putting headlines on the bottom. Stay tuned for that. But also stay tuned for this. We just got the 30-year yield, or we're going to get that now. 4.73 is the yield for the 30-year before the auction. But, you know, hopefully by the time we're done this ad, we'll get after the auction. Thank you to our friends at Origenics. OGEN, because each year there are 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE listed Origenics, OGEN, is changing that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more. Schedule a meeting today. Thank you to our friends at Origenics. John is rad. Any news on this Microsoft thing with OpenAI? Can you please provide more details so that I'm looking at the right story? Because off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure what you are referencing. I know there have been a couple stories, but please let me know so that I can answer this correctly for you. I want to mention Mike Williams. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat for SoFi. Yeah, let's take a look at SoFi as it's kind of been as of late. Oh, I see. Okay, wow. Wow, this broke an uptrend. I will put in a trend line. Okay, there we go. So as you guys can see, we broke that uptrend, almost kind of top and tailed it on the 3. What did we do in the 5? Not really top and tail of the 5, certainly more than the 3. Then we kind of sliced it. We broke lower. We are below VWAP. At this point, I would kind of wait to see if we do that VWAP rejection. This one on the daily I want to see because SoFi has been really strong as of late, as I just referenced. And I want to kind of see what's it given us lately. Yeah, this daily is, I never really like it when you have that nice high, then you push lower, then you might make a slightly, I guess, lower high on a wick basis, and now it looks like we're making even lower high than that wick. I'd kind of wait. That being said, I think if we stay above this resistance level, here, the 27, that's not bad. We'll have to wait and see how that happens. Okay, John is saying Microsoft delivers the world's first at-scale NVIDIA GB700 cluster, providing the supercomputing engine needed for OpenAI to train multi-trillion parameters in. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'll look into that story. I mean, MSFT is down on the day, and wow, actually, Obi, this kind of looks like a flat bottom break. I'm in way too many shorts as it is. I don't necessarily need a fifth, but I will take a look here to see what Microsoft is doing.
If it's setting up.
Well, let's see if it's setting up. Oh, look at that flat bottom break, Obi. So I think either way, I don't have any more detail on this for John Israd. I'm going to be honest, the story, but here's the thing, as I've said before too, and people were asking about this with Oracle. Oracle had that news with the Google saying maybe there was a hack, and then initially the stock dropped, but then it kind of fell right in line, bounced off VWAP, continuing the trend. Sometimes stocks just don't care about news. Or they don't care about news right away, and then it'll hit a couple days later. UiPath still running on news from a couple weeks ago, right? Yep. So really be aware. I think all of that, it's not one size fits all. We also did get the auction. 30-year high yield was 3.734%. Before the auction, it was 4.73%, so not a huge difference there. Trump is still talking, and again, as I said, I'm going to catch up on that after. Unfortunately, I'm not watching it live right now for you guys, but nothing huge market moving being said here either. Oh, I missed my ad on CrowdStrike, but that's okay, guys, because you know what? We can bounce off VWAP. If we bounce off VWAP and we snipe 50850, I'm going to be striking that while the iron is hot, because an iron is flaming hot fire. Oh, how you doing, Obi?
I'm looking at this flush in the market, man. The silver continues to flush even harder now. So we're just looking at it in and around those 44s, trading a little bit lower here. Apple is now starting to pique my interest as it starts to overextend to the downside. Well, I don't know about overextend, but definitely a bit of extension. But that's kind of in line with the market as of right now. No real strong bid on this one either on the day. So we saw the Google start to kind of perk up a little bit. When was that? Was that around 12 o'clock? That was around 11:30 where that Google bid came in. Let's see what happened around 11:30 on Apple. Quadunk. So a big, strong red candle on the 15-minute, on the 10 or the 11:30 15-minute candle there, and strong sellers. Is this an unusual? So here's the thing. This is why we talk about nuances, right? This chart looks very similar to that of Google, right? You can be like, oh boy, when the bid steps in, I definitely want to get involved. But there is one thing, there is a nuance that is very, very different. It is distinctly different, some might say, on this sell-off versus the Google sell-off, which made the Google sell-off even better. I talked about the volume bars. I don't even have to be on the tape on Google to know that there's an unusual seller there. Look at the volume bars here. This is kind of, it's dwindling down a little bit, kind of pulling in. It's in line with the market direction at the current moment. We haven't really had any sort of a bid. We're breaking down technically off of this bit of a base that we've been holding for a couple of days, 255s, but that's a different kind of trade. But when we go look at Google here, look at the distinct difference on the sell-off. I pointed this out earlier. Every single 15-minute bar overshadows the opening and maybe even the closing prices or the closing bar volumes of prior 2 days. So this right here, volume, I say this often, volume is my top indicator. It will give you the nuances that you are looking for. So this, to me, is an unusual seller. It also had a catalyst in the pre-market. Sure, the chart looks the same. Now, this is why, you know, in the famous words of Mark Douglas, he says that chart patterns in the market, they repeat all the time, right? They rhyme all the time. But the result of the action that comes off of those chart patterns is totally random, right? And how can you kind of refine that? With nuances like volume, like trend, like moving averages, like overextensions, and things like that. So I just wanted to point out that Apple, although looking like it's similar, it's doing the same thing that Google was doing, it actually is not doing anything similar to what Google actually did this morning. So there is that distinct difference of the Google seller versus maybe the selling that's happening on Apple, because you can see on Microsoft as well. Microsoft's a great example. Is this doing strong volume on the sell-off? Sure, on the breakdowns, we get some strong volume bars. Look at that opening range, or sorry, second 15-minute bar low, which was a strong wick. When price breaks through that, yeah, we get a little bit of volume because, yeah, maybe some stops are getting taken out on the break of that price. Makes a lot of sense, but there wasn't any sustained volume. There wasn't a sustained seller on Microsoft. So that makes the difference, right? So again, those are the things that I'm kind of watching out for. Volume by far is my top most important indicator. Everything else kind of comes after that. And of course, I love watching the tape as well. Anything and everything that you might want to be interested in, or participants, everything is a derivative of the raw data that comes in on the tape. Even the candlesticks on your chart are drawn probably microseconds, maybe milliseconds after every new order. It kind of as the candlestick is being drawn. Right? So the first place you're going to hear it, first place you're going to see it is going to be on the tape, maybe on the book next. But that's something to watch out for. Let's see what you guys are talking about. AMD CRS saying bouncing on the 9 EMA on the 15-minute chart. So let's take a quick look at AMD here. Like we said before, some strong selling off of the open. Maybe not that strong. We've looked at some strong sellers. Let me rephrase. Some selling off of the open, but nothing too aggressive, as we're still holding some of these end-of-day range prices post pullback, right? So I like that. Still hasn't got down to 230 just yet. But yeah, I like the look there. It's holding that EMA to the downside here as well. So maybe you want to look for a break of that trend, the break of that. If you're defining the downtrend using the 9 EMA or what have you, on the break of that definition, does the situation change? Does the appearance change of the book, of the tape, of the price action? Then maybe you have something on your hands. So I like the look there. Good job kind of pointing that out. I'm watching it as well. Of course, AMD, one of the top stocks of this week. For sure. Boss Play saying, can you look at Amazon? Is Amazon stronger than the market? I kind of pointed this out as well. Amazon is showing relative strength, as we did get some strong selling off of the open, but we pull back into some of these levels from yesterday. Now, yesterday, Amazon was also a little distinctly different with this crazy aggressive aggressive when you look at it from a higher time frame, but an intraday, slow, methodical, grinding bid pretty much all day that only gets a little bit of relief at the end of the day. And we talked about how that rejection was absolutely beautiful. But guess what? Maybe we're just chopping in this range, consolidating near some of these highs. We know that 222, I keep pointing out, that 2222, oh boy, what's the day low? 22175. Nice. That was the year open. Yesterday we found some strong buyers there that pretty much lasted us all throughout the day. And guess what? We're finding some demand once again in and around the same areas that we found it yesterday. We're catching a bit of a bid. So looking at that, yes, it is a little bit relatively stronger than some of its peers in the Mag 7. What do you got for us, Adara?
Yeah, sorry, Obi, I do want to mention a couple of news stories. So Trump talking about China apparently right now in his cabinet meeting, and one of the cabinet doors has some maybe bad news for China, saying Trump on China, maybe we'll have to stop importing massive amounts from China. So again, he's not really liking the idea of importing tons of stuff from China. Let's take a look here at BABA, and then I'll talk about Shift 4 payments, which is but Alibaba's not moving, but man, it got beat up today, Obi. Let's take a look at Shift 4. So for this story, I do have to give you guys some context. Also, apparently Trump just heard, according to him, about China mineral export controls. He's saying, I just heard this. If we get more, I'll let you know. But so FOUR, Shift 4 payments, for context. A man named Derek Isaacson was recommended by Elon Musk. This is when Tusk was going long and strong. This is when Tusk were like besties. They were taking weird plane photos with Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. They were bros. So anyway, at that time, Elon Musk recommended Derek Isaacson to be Trump's nominee to lead NASA. Then, I don't know if this is coincidental or not, but around when Trump broke up, then Trump rescinds Jarek Isaacman's nomination for NASA head. And then the guy who leads the transportation department, Sean Duffy, he was interim lead. Well, now, guys, all of that yapping is so I can set up this story. The story is that reportedly Trump and Isaacman are in talks, and then Trump's going to maybe put Isaacman in control of NASA. Well, here's the thing, guys. He was like the founder of Shift 4. He was former CEO of Shift 4. So that's why Shift 4 would move on this. That Amazon looks gorgeous. Oh, my gosh. I'm just watching that Amazon. But yes, that's the context for Shift 4. I do apologize for my verbosity, but I do like to set up these news stories a lot of the time. So that's what happened there with Shift 4. Let's take a look here. Is my Unity plugged in? Yes, it is. So my trades, there's really nothing to update. I did add to CrowdStrike a bit, just because, like I said, we kind of had the VWAP bounce. Maybe I shouldn't have added because we bounced off VWAP, but we kind of came back to that little trench area. I did add to the position. We might get stopped out. I moved my stop to just around 510s, as I said, different support. But yes, that's what's going to happen there for CRWD. And AMD, we had that bounce off the lows. I'm still in my short because I don't have a reason to leave. But that being said, this bounce. So again, you guys have to realize, when are you going to be wrong in the trade? I am wrong once we get, this area is what we bounced to, right? We couldn't get above that level. So if we can get above that level, OB, then at that point, I am wrong. So I will be moving my stop to 232.70s on AMD. RACE, honestly, like, OB, this race car, like, stalled.
Oh, okay.
This Ferrari just stalled. Oh, no.
Damn.
But honestly, I'm not worried. I don't have a reason to leave. I'm just going to chill. Like, I have no problem if my stop doesn't get hit and I don't have a reason to leave. I will chill in a trade all day. I don't care.
You got to be careful that it doesn't burn the clutch when it's stalling.
Well, I hope it doesn't burn the clutch. Either way, I have clutch fire repellent, a couple levels up, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, all jokes aside, that's what's happening there with Race. Meta, I said I always kind of thought was the diciest. Well, Meta and CrowdStrike, the diciest of these four, but it still cannot get above that 728 area.
Oh, ALH is
I'm
open.
chilling. ALH? Okay, let's talk about ALH.
Open. Okay, so yeah, I was like, wait, that book just populated. That shouldn't be up, but here we go. Opening price, $24.50, trading a little bit lower right now, $23.95s. Do we see any sort of significance in the tape or the price action? Do we see a participant? You said that the IPO price was around $22. Yes, that is correct. So we're talking about a 37 million shares being put onto the market at $22, but it IPO'd at $24.50. Again, this is an $826 million offer on ALH. They do a little bit of laundry, right? A little bit of a wash. So just make sure you manage your risk and you don't get washed on this stock on the day today. But 24 is holding. Let's observe that PLEX or whatever the other one was doing much less volume than this one. This is the difference. This is what I'm talking about. Look, I know you guys can't really see it because it's really small font here, but it's done almost about 4 million. It's going to be about 4 million within the minute. 4 million shares traded at a price of $24. So in terms of dollar volume, participation, float size, liquidity, like everything is much better on this stock. Now the question becomes, is it going to do what we're looking for or what you're looking for? What are you looking for? It's not an AI name. It's not necessarily, was it oversubscribed? I don't know. It opened above its IPO price, so that's good to know. And here we go, 24, a little bit of a push. Are there buyers pulling up into this? You see right here, I already have, okay, we don't have a filter, so we'll throw that filter on. So anybody with a 100 lot or more will show up on as a highlighted participant on the book. And I don't necessarily see any large participants here just yet. So where the buyers at, where the sellers at, no idea. A little bit of a chop here on top of 24s. And don't forget, 24.50 was the opening price on ALH. So that's a good one to keep eyes on here as of right now. I'm just going to wait for some structure to form. Let's get some data on the chart, and then maybe we can participate off of that. Because remember, fresh prices, I like it. This chart has not traded any of these prices past the candles. So fresh prices, fresh participants. I think there's a lot of stuff to watch and potentially opportunities to observe there. Yeah, I think there is edge there, I would say. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that. gotta be careful when you're throwing that word around. But yeah, I think there is a little bit of edge there when you're looking at some fresh ranges and fresh prices, especially when it comes to IPOs. Yeah, kind of similar to breaking news trade, but not really the same because again, these are all fresh prices, right? And it doesn't have any sort of resistance or resistance or support. Wow, words. It doesn't have any resistance or support other than the stuff that is already printed. So that's what I really like about IPOs. Right now, just trading within its range, 24 halves. It's back at its IPO price right now. Let's see if we can break a little bit higher. If we break through these highs, so far holding it as a bit of resistance at 24 halves on ALX. I don't know if this is ready for anything, but I'm going to be patient. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, patience pays, Obi. AMD finally broke the lows. I was going to add, and then I was like, Adara, that was never your plan. Stick to your plan. I did move my stop. Right now, you know what I'm doing, Obi? I'm straight chilling because AMD is straight dipping. That was weird. I apologize. But yeah, thank you for the bang button there. I don't know what I did to deserve that, but I am very happy to be here. And guys, this is why you have to stay patient and just trust the trade. CrowdStrike and Meta, I said for both, I wasn't sure. I was confident enough to enter. I didn't have a reason to leave, so I stayed in them. I actually did add to CrowdStrike. Either way, my stop crowd, again, around 510 more or less. I intentionally, because I trade spread, I keep my stop levels a little bit removed from the area I'm actually trying to set at. So for me to be vague with my stops, I'm not trying to snow anybody. I literally do intentionally keep them a little bit above because that has saved me so many times. There are times where if I had my stop exactly at the level, then it would get kind of messy, it would get rocky, or I'd get chopped out. So that's why I don't do that. Jay Lee saying it might be worth to get AMD longs here. I mean, I'm in the short, but even with me being in the short, I wouldn't go long here. Do you know why? Because there are still higher highs, higher lows. What I would be waiting for, Jay Lee, is some kind of bottoming wick candle on the 5-minute or the 3-minute, just to kind of show buyers are here and they're standing up and they're like, hey guys, I want to buy AMD. At that point, no buyer has said that. I think the sellers are still in control. And I would say that honestly, like regardless if I was long or short this. Neil talks about this a lot. Opie talks about this a lot. You have to think if I wasn't in the trade, how would I be taking the trade? Yes. And in this case, if I was not in AMD, I would not be logging in. I might be trying to get short with this low of the day retest, but even then, I think that'd be probably dicey. There was something I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, sorry guys, I'm all over the place here. XYZ. So XYZ, someone was saying to me that is Square, this is at a 30-minute downtrend. It's been consistently in this 30-minute trend. Or maybe not downtrend, sorry, it's been a 30-minute trend all October. Wow. I have to show, I believe that was Jacob Wick candle. What's going on there? I love that. That is a really good look.
Like gap up continuation pretty much every day.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the 30. This is also a P8, so we we don't have all the data, right?
Understandable, but
this is still beautiful.
It's still, even though you're missing some of the data, like the structure's holding. It's stair stepping up. That's pretty that's pretty apparent there.
Yeah, and I want to say, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I want to say too, like I believe Jacob Wicandle as well. This was a while ago, this message, but he was saying maybe this XYZ today is the day that we break that 30-minute trend, and I actually kind of wonder if that is the case. Because we were pushing lower. Either way, I think I'm going to put down that $80 level because look, this $80 support, especially with that trend break. Jacob, I think I'll be watching $80 tomorrow for sure is what I'll say to that. Well, the Hippo saying, don't forget to take profits. At least take percent to pay yourself. You have so many shorts, worried for you. I appreciate that. And I will clarify, I only have a quarter left of RACE. I took off most of that earlier. I was very actually lucky to get the low of day print on RACE, more or less. AMD already took a piece, and honestly, that 230 chop is a little I might take some off around like that 231 area, but I'm not going to stress over it. And I'm basically flat or slightly out of the money for Crowd or Meta, so there's no profit to take. And like I said, too, the biggest thing is there are times where you're like, I could have taken profit, and then the trade goes against you, but I would always rather trade my plan than react because I want profit or because, you know what I mean? I think that's always going to be the big thing for me. And I think, guys, too, what I love about trading is each trade is its own trade, and Mother Market will give you opportunities. She's not trying to punish you just to be mean. If she grounds you, it's because you messed up. You missed your curfew. You were on your phone during dinner. You were texting the boy from next door when she said, hey, don't talk to that boy from next door. And so Mother Market is teaching you lessons. And I bring that up to say, this morning, like I said, I was pretty dejected. I traded AMD kind of choppy. RACE, I was kind of met on. App Love, and I missed the short I really wanted. I was kind of grumpy, but guess what? I didn't let that stick with me, even though, as I said, I admit, a little nervous to come back to the midday. I said, Adara, this market is just that. It's not something for you to get emotional over. It is a market where people buy or sell, and you have to buy or sell when things tell you to buy or sell.
Yep.
And with that in mind, with that attitude, I came here to buy, but I mostly came to sell. And I'll stop saying buy and sell so much. I will stop. Thank you to the girl power there. Appreciate that, Fluffy Hippo. That being said, I do appreciate what you're trying to say with regards to taking some profit. And I think either way, this AMD, I'm going to take a little off the top here. Not the bottom, I guess. Took a little bit. I still have half left. But I do think, especially with this kind of grinding consolidation at 230 and the lows forming here, I can't promise it's not going to pop. So I'll take care of that there. RACE, move my stop a bit, but not significantly. It's still in the vicinity of 412s, but a little lower. META, stop around mid 427s. CrowdStrike, stop around 510s, just so you guys are updated with what I'm doing. You guys see that big wick on AMD? I think you do. Until we get there, I am chilling in this short. That's for darn sure.
Nice. Let's go. Yeah, no, I think that's a great point that you make. At the end of the day, like, yeah, people will be like, oh, why aren't you taking profits, whatever. You got to trade your own plan, right? It's your plan, it's your trade, it's your perspective, and you don't need to listen to anybody other than maybe if someone's telling you that you should be managing your risk. But I don't think anybody's ever really had that sort of an issue with Adara. But at the end of the day, trade your plan. I think a lot of people say this. It's very cliche, but it's cliche because it works. Plan the trade, trade the plan. Right? You've heard that so many times. It gets thrown out around a lot, and for good reason. As cliche as it is what the ideal way of doing things is, in my opinion, because a lot of the times I'm fumbling because I'm not following the plan or I'm going against it. And you know what? It makes it even better. Talk about emotional control. When you follow the plan, you're just like, okay, I did what I had to do. Sure, you could have done this, that, and the other, but I followed the plan. So maybe if you want to do this, that, and the other for next time, the plan is what needs tweaking. But at the end of the day, the discipline comes from following your plan, however that plan is. So I think that's a pretty solid point there. Great lesson on that. What else is going on here as of right now? Micron to the downside. So I'm just looking at my chip basket just to see which one of these is actually more sold off than the rest. Micron looking pretty heavy. TSM a little bit. AMD I like a little bit better as well, but that's coming into that 230 right now. 230.40s was that prior consolidation low from yesterday. So that's what I'm looking at as of right now on the day. But I don't really see anything else. Where's the next trade? That's what I'm asking you guys. And Pepsi, oh boy, I know you were looking at this one this morning, and Pepsi's looking like it's starting to catch some legs here, fizzling up to the upside.
Oh, yeah.
Here on.
They shook the bottle before they opened it.
Yeah, a little shaking right there. This was the shake. You see that right there in the pre-market session. They shook the can, and here we're getting a little bit of a push higher, all the way back up to 143.74 as of right now. So people are like, oh, let's take a trade, man. I'm looking for the trade, man. I'm looking for the trade. And here's the thing: I don't care what you guys, or if you guys try to push me into positions, that's not going to happen. At the end of the day, where's the next trade? Is it part of my playbook? That's what I'm going to go with, right? At the end of the day, this is real trading.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm just going to try to really trade. How about that? So let's move on to the next one. DAL at the end of the day, it was nice in the pre-market. I had eyes on because I was like, oh boy, this is strong. I actually came in and around 6 o'clock. I was watching it. And it was getting pretty. Actually, no, it was on the. I think it was on the bus. I was on the bus and I saw DAL starting to go, and I was like, oh boy, this is poised for a bit of a push off of the open. I liked it for a continuation because of this action. We were pushing up into some prior highs. What's going on, bro? He's like creeping. He's like creeping over here. What's going on? How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Hold on. Am I live here now?
Yeah, you're live.
Listen, that lunch was fire.
Yeah?
I'm not even gonna
How
lie.
was that?
It was the best lunch that we ever had.
Really? The best lunch ever?
Here.
Those are big words.
Hands down.
Really?
I gave it a 7. It's getting a Wilson upgrade to an 8.5 here.
A Wilson upgrade.
Yeah, we're getting
a
an
Wilson
upgrade.
Capital upgrade.
It's an 8.5. I would even borderline go 9. Some other analysts would give it a 9. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Okay, well, I'll be the judge of that. Excuse me. But yeah, no. Okay, best lunch ever. I'm excied there. I don't know about you. We got about half an hour.
What if it's spicy?
I
know Joe said it wasn't, but people have different tolerances.
It didn't smell spicy here. Yeah, Carlos Briona is saying, trade Obi, just click it. You know you want to get that dopamine hit. Man, I wish some trades still give me dopamine, but you got to remember, some of the best trades these days, there's just not a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like I said before, following the plan, following the strategy, it is what it is. Staying involved in what works for you and staying away from what really doesn't, right? So dopamine, I'll leave that to whoever loves to gamble, but here, we're actually here to make trades. So leave the gambling for the casinos. I know a lot of people treat the market like a casino, and that might, that might have something to do with, I mean, you might see that with the kind of stat that trading gives us, right? In terms of how many people actually end up on top. And I'm trying to push as well. You got to try to resist the impulses and the urges to just punch positions just because you like something. Oh, I like that, boom. I like that, boom. I like that, boom. Nah, dude, that's not how it's done. You have to be specific. Specificity is everything. If something is not as specific as you want it to be for you to participate, then whatever, dude. So, yeah, exactly. So quality over quantity is what matters, right? At the end of the day, the numbers and the charts will speak for themselves. And if people just want to speak words, you can do well at that business. I'm not going to participate in that.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, being a trader doesn't mean one thing. Like, a lot of people are saying, like, I just saw a comment in there, like, guys, here's the thing. Like, you can take trades all day. Maybe you're someone who scalps constantly. That is, if you have a plan, if you're following your plan, that is real trading. Or you wait, you sit, you snipe for the best opportunities. Guess what? If that's your plan, that's also real trading. Traders are like snowflakes. Shout out to SNOW. No two are alike, and no two should be alike. And I think that's really important. So I really respect what you had to say there, Obi. Yeah. Just sitting there waiting. Like, even for me, like, people are like, oh, Adara, oh, you're in trades, Obi's not in trades. I've been in 2 of these, like, basically the whole midday.
Hey,
I haven't touched them. Right? Pardon?
I took the Google.
Yeah, you get the awesome Google reversion, right? Like, and I also, sorry, I wasn't trying to like denigrate. The point I'm trying to make is, it's not like I've been crazy active either. I've just been in a couple trades for a while, and I've been, babysitting, brushing their hair every once in a while. Like, okay, go back to bed. Oh, you're doing okay? Oh, do we need like a midnight snack? Do you know what I mean? It's like, sometimes trading is just maintenance. And I'm definitely in the maintenance phase here, to borrow a term from diet culture for some reason, for AMD and for RACE, right? So, like, I've been in these for a while, and I'm just chilling and waiting. So I think trading looks like a lot of things. It's like stalking for the hunt. It's waiting for the deer to come up in front of you, all cute and bashful, right? Sorry, this is a really weird analogy, guys. But the point I'm trying to make is, I really respect you standing up for it's not even your right, you're standing up for your trading style. I think that's really important, and we shouldn't have to do that, but I think a lot of the nature of being here in the screen trading in front of people, you are gonna eventually have to be like, this is who I am, this is what I'm for as a trader, and I think you have to kind of get used to that too. And I'm still getting used to it because it's been a while since I've been trading in front of you guys. I usually, again, take my trades over in the Hobbit hole in the Shire, so it's a little different. I do want to say with PEP, you mentioned, I was looking at this earlier, and but the level I liked was 138, around 138 halves, basically this low of day, and I actually liked it as a short. And I'll explain why. I liked it as a short because, look, Obi, this was like a breakdown in the daily. But Pep said, hey, you know what? I'm going to be Pep to the upside. And it very impressively also breaks out of this daily resistance. So either way, that could have been a trade. It wasn't one that I felt like taking. And I think that's really the point of my big, long rant here, right? There are going to be tons of trades in the market. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Shout out to POF for some reason. But that doesn't mean that fish is for everybody. You know what I mean? Maybe every trade you see is like a tilapia. There's like no, caviar, escargot. Okay. So why would you force that trade? Yeah. And I do think that's important. I'm going to get off my high horse, clip cloth, and climb back into my Ferrari horse over here. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I think yeah, that's a great analogy, right? You gotta stick with the quality setups or what you think are quality setups, and at the end of the day, that's what I like to do. There was a time at the beginning of my trading where I would take 10 different trades. You know why? Because I wasn't necessarily confident in my style. I was still trying to figure stuff out. When you're trying to figure stuff out, yeah, sure, take a bunch of trades, take whatever sets up. Actually, no, take whatever sets up, just don't take whatever doesn't set up. That's what I'm trying to say here. And at the same time, you got to remember, you got to keep some things in check and in line. So discipline again is pretty big. I'm a little bit of a what's the right word? I like to do as well as I can to practice like a stoic mindset, especially when it comes when it comes to trading. It definitely helps out when it comes to trading and business. And it's just like if you guys are struggling with impulsivity, if you guys are struggling with emotions or decision making, I think checking some stuff out on stoicism is absolutely gold. You don't have to be like a gung ho follower of that mentality and that way of life, but I think there are certain concepts and certain things that are very, very valuable that you can bring into your style and your person to not only make you a better trader, but to make you a better human being as well. So I think that's a big part of it there. So big proponent of my mindset definitely is, or I try to derive that from stoicism for sure. Figma, hello. All right, that might be something. So Figma, we tried this trade a little bit a couple days ago, a break of structure. It seems like Figma's coming all the way back down into some structure lows. And oh boy, I just realized today, or just now, that I cannot borrow.
I know, I realized that too.
Shares right now, and I'm like, okay, this is coming in really nicely. So I mean, it is what it is. It's fun to. I can't participate in it, but I guess I can just watch. So getting a little bit of weakness there, back down into this consolidation lows just from yesterday, opening range lows as well. Figma's been pretty nice, man. A bit of a stair-step runner here, pushing up, structured hold on top of that 60, and we got that acceleration as well. I tried to take the breakout on this day, which was Tuesday, just a couple days ago, and that, sure, it came in, but kind of a failure back down, so didn't really do what I was looking for until the next day. This is where that bid actually comes in. It's screaming bid after leg, consolidation, leg. So a bit of a 3-bar happening on the daily here on Figma. Let's see if we sustain some of these range levels from prior day here on Figma. Again, going into the end of the week, pretty strong week this week, maybe starting a little bit of a curl since its IPO. Would you take a look at that? Right here. So I'm going to take off some of these indicators, go to a higher time frame here, and we can kind of see what it's been doing since the IPO. This is what I mean. IPO day one, absolutely beautiful long, and everybody's probably getting in and getting into positions, whatever. They think this is the next circle. They think this is the next best one, whatever they think. Regardless, a beautiful swing short on this one, just stair-stepping down, 100 break, 75 break, this structure break, retest of this 77 right here. Nice follow through all the way down to a low of 50s. So it's been a beautiful short, but now we're finally starting to pick up on the bid as of Monday. So as the beginning of the week, we're starting to finally catch a little bit of a bid. So the question becomes, do we see more of the same where we kind of knock up into prior structure and hold support as resistances, or do we just chop up sideways? I don't know what we're going to do. We've come into some of these prior resistance levels, kind of this chop here, and that's showing up as a bit of resistance on the first kind of day or after the first day we pulled up into it. So do we consolidate? Is this, again, leg, consolidation, leg, consolidation, leg? Is it going to give us that methodical structure hold back to the upside, or is it just going to chop sideways? Those are the questions that I'm asking here on Figma, as it's starting to look a little bit interesting once again here on the day.
Yeah, I'm going to take a moment to thank our friends at, he's signal my throat.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
New traders. Wow. Listen up. First month, free. That's right, we're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with back testing, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips. All in one platform, don't miss out, execute your best trades now. Are you ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Thank you, RAR. I just wanted to have this out so I could go RAR. Guys, I love playing with these puppets. Anybody who knows, I'm always walking by and I'm adjusting them and doing things to them. So it's nice to have them here and I can just move them around. I do want to actually address things here. Top VOIP saying Tesla testing low of days. I'm sure everyone is very pleased as punch to hear that I have not been making Tesla puns today, mostly just because I don't trade Tesla as much anymore. Honestly, Obi, I said I didn't find Tesla to be super directional on the way up. I didn't. On the way down, though, decent little downtrend from the highs. Yeah, I think low of day, we're going to have to go a little bit lower here, that 426. But Tesla's been honestly so choppy lately. If I zoom out, go to like a 15-minute, like it'll be up one day, it'll be down the next day, it'll be sideways the next day. Like, I will say from, I guess, where was this? Was this, yeah, from delivery day, we have generally been swooping lower, but even then not consistently. Like Tesla, it'll be kind of one if I see something shorter term, I kind of want to scalpel look at it, but it's not. I find it's one that I kind of avoid coming up with plans for pre-market because it's probably just going to ignore you and not care. So that's TSLA. That being said, yeah, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, top VOIP. My top idea for Tesla would be that 429.50 rejection. Maybe it continues the downtrend, but it has been choppy today, and I would kind of wait to see if that chop continues. Also, Fed's bar talking right now. Again, like a lot of Feds saying that they're trying to figure out if the policy is restrictive enough right now. He believes it's modestly restrictive, and he said it's important to have good ceiling tools for the policy rate. But the reason I bring this up, guys, is because Kashkari at one point said, I just agree with everything you said, Fed bar. So I feel like Kashkari is just trying to cash in on that Fed appearance money. I'm joking, I'm not saying that. But I guess he just agreed with what Fed bar had to say, which makes sense because they have both been a little bit more on the hawkish side. And if people want Adara's Fed facts, this is not the time or place for that. I could rant about it another date. I have a lot of feelings about Feds. Glenn Smith saying Tesla's clearly being manipulated by big money. I wouldn't disagree. Like any kind of chop like that, like I said, I'm trying to avoid no man's land. CrowdStrike probably going to stop me out at 410s, but I'm chilling. I have no reason to run. So I'm going to wait and see what happens there. I do want to thank Joshua Davis for the $4.99 super chat. We needed Adara more often. That is very kind of you to say, guys. It means a lot to me to be here with you guys in the midday. But to answer the people in the chat, like, oh, can we get Adara more often? That's not my control. That's not my purview, right? I'm just grateful enough to be able to be asked and to be able to help out when people are out. And also, like, you know, I do the news desk. I'm very happy at the news desk, and I do give the news. But guys, here's the thing. I do still trade. So if you ever have questions about my plays, you can tag me in the chat. I'm not always in the chat, but I'll always be willing to say what I'm seeing in terms of what my specialty is or my niche or my it is more spready tickers. So I'm going to be probably less insightful or have less to say about, for example, the UI path or a small cap, but these will kind of be more my vibe. So yeah, thank you guys so much for the kind words. The point I'm trying to make is you might not see me trading every day or even more often, but hey, I'm just pleased as punch to be here with you guys when I can be. And my heart is always here with these markets because the heart, what's what it wants. I think that's Selena Gomez. And right now, you know, my heart wants these charts. And I'm going to, DHR, says Jameson, before we go back here, DHR, I feel, here we go, I don't know if it was, okay. I'm going to be honest, Jameson, again, this is a stock where I feel like it's in a range, but it's not, like, I think you'd honestly have to get, you know what? Actually, the more I look at this, the more I actually really like this. Because we made a double bottom with a slightly higher low, and there's an uptrend. That being said, though, unfortunately, I don't really think you can get into this safely unless it comes back and bings that uptrend. I can't believe only 20 minutes.
I got eyes on some of these baskets here on the day. Silver is what I'm watching. Maybe potential reversion happening there, but nothing too aggressive. But I do want to point out. So you said the word manipulation gets thrown around a lot, and it's funny that people utter the word manipulation, especially when things don't work for them. I always find that to be absolutely hilarious because, you know, if it's not working for you, you know, blame it on the manipulation. Great, classic. All right, but for sure, markets can get manipulated for sure, but here's the thing, there's good reason for that. Welcome to the market. If you think I'm not going to participate because I think, well, then, you know, sit on the sidelines. But you gotta embrace the fact that the markets can be like that at times, because that can actually provide opportunity, right? Maybe you can consider it manipulation, but what if someone is trying to get in and like they're price ignorant? What if someone is trying to get out because they have to get out? What if someone's getting liquidated and they have to get out, right? You're gonna call that manipulation? No, those are just things that happen. Those are occurrences in the market, right? So manipulation, sure, but you gotta use that word a little lightly, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and say that if you use that word often, you just got to get good. You just got to get a little bit, find a place where you can actually, you know, maybe avoid some of that, or maybe even participate in some of that. So yeah, exactly. No free lunch for sure. That's you got to remember that. You got to. There's always a little bit of a struggle in trying to find your niche. But once you do, things are a little bit smoother as well. And then you can actually get in play with some of those manipulations that you see, the nuances of different kinds of price action right there. And yeah, big money's always trying to move stuff around. Well, yeah, guess what? This is a PvP game. So you know, when a large fish swims by in the ocean, best believe you're going to feel some waves. So that's how I like to think about it. And you know, whether or not you want to get pushed away by those waves and run away, or be like, all right, let me ride this wave, that's going to be on you. So I don't know, weird analogy, but I guess it works for me here. Let's see, what else do we have going on? You know what? I want to see what's been doing some strong volume on the day, because that's one thing I haven't looked at. I've looked at all my predefined kind of watch list stocks and layouts that I've been watching. I'm looking at the tech sector. I'm looking at the Mag 7. I'm looking at what I thought was in play in the morning. So those are the 3 watch lists in a sense that I have open. So that's a total of, I guess, 24 stocks. That includes the Mag 7 and some of the futures as well. So yeah, I scroll through those every now and then. But let's go through some of the volume leaders and see what they're up to. And it's sometimes they're easy to miss because, you know, some staring at the large caps all day, you'll definitely miss some of the large volume runners, some of the runners that are doing the most dollar volume as well on the day. So here we go. Tilray Brands. Nice little opening range high that was broken through, so it gave you the opportunity to kind of take the breakout or even take the sustain of the opening range low as well. Failure to follow through below that, $2 hold, and a push a little bit higher through that, or all the way up to $2.32. So Tilray, that's a solid move off of the open. Now they had earnings, and we got that earnings continuation, right? So earnings day one, Tilray, pretty solid if I do say so myself. NVIDIA, we saw that fresh all-time highs, 195.30s. I participated in this in the morning session, and I was just like, all right, well, this, in my opinion, was the best opportunity. So if something else comes along today, it better be just as good or even better. So let's take a quick look at what I did on NVIDIA this morning. I liked pretty much every price off of the open there. So I bought up anything and everything from I guess 193s to 191s and some change, getting a little bit more aggressive on the right side of the V, because yeah, I don't know how far it's going to drop. I think being light gives you that room to risk a little wider, and when it does come in, maybe you have some bad inventory, but you can really kind of start actually taking the trade on the right side of the V there. That's what I did. Reasons to sell, I might have been posted pretty aggressively up into this area, so that's why those arrows are just boom, 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 boom. As price kind of ripped up pretty erratically, just started taking out some of my levels there that I was posted on. The highest sells being in and around 194 halves. So I really liked that, and I was like, oh boy, the reversion is coming in as well. I didn't really participate in the reversion, but yeah, 191s to 194 halves. That was a decent little scalp in the morning session. Thank you for that. So that was my trade on NVIDIA, and honestly, this is half the reason why I'm not necessarily participating in much else, because I'm like, what is as good as this? right? I gave my risk and my time and the trade and the mental allocation to this trade in the morning, and I was like, okay, where is the next trade? And I want to participate in something that's just as good or even better. Have I seen anything like that? Google might have been one of them as well, but distinctly different from that of NVIDIA in terms of the reversion, but the reversion worked out pretty well, I would say. So that was the thing on NVIDIA. Plug power, this thing's been running around for the past couple of days, relative volume as well, but nothing crazy today, just kind of revisiting prices from yesterday. Rigetti, I know that some of these quantum computing stocks have been taking a little bit of a chop here as we push some fresh highs, right? 48.23s and nice continuation. So bigger picture, these names have been coming in pretty nicely. Is this NNE? No, this is New Era Energy Digital NUAI. NUAI. Oh boy. Sharif, have you been watching this one? NUAI, definitely. Oh yeah, I know for a fact Sharif has been watching this one and probably participating in this one as well. Look at this thing, all the way from $1.49 to $3 highs, up about 89% on the day. Nice grinding trend to the upside, expanding volume as we print higher and higher and higher, kind of telling you that more and more people are willing to buy higher prices. So great news for taking the trade and holding on for continuation until that price and volume starts to dissipate as well. So yeah, that was great on that one. BJDX. Didn't really have eyes on this one, but it seems like this one was a nice pre-market short. Blue Jay Diagnostics. Nice. That one in the morning. Didn't have eyes on anything like this. Big Bear AI. We know this one is a fan favorite for sure. That's holding a bit of a base on top of $7 for the past couple of days here. And I think we're starting to get into the volume leaders, starting to get low enough into the volume leaders that some of the stuff might not be as good. Oh boy, American Airlines. This thing had a catalyst in the morning, right? American Airlines had a catalyst in this morning?
It was Delta.
Delta. Yeah, you're right. Delta. I'm like, okay, well, what was this? Nice, beautiful reversion. Much cleaner fade than that of Delta Airlines. So when the airlines start to report, I think it's definitely good to watch their whole sector as well. So let's go quickly take a look at DAL. Look at that. Distinctly different. This was the one with the catalyst. This was the one with the pre-market move. Actual news with the earnings report, and then look at the sell-off being held pretty well. AAL not as much, and you don't even see Delta on this volume leaderboard. You actually see American Airlines, which I find even more interesting. Beautiful fade all day on that one, on the gap up on news that really wasn't AAL's to begin with. So interesting stuff there. Navitas, LAES, Lays, I know this one as well. Nice little multi-leg runner on the day today, so beautiful stuff there. I know you guys are participating in a lot of these. I see these names in the chat very often as well. So AMD still kind of continuing to sell off, holding that 230 as of right now, trading at 231. So we're kind of getting a little bit of a chop, but you can see well within the downtrend. Let's just draw a bit of an indicator right here. Take the high, take some of these highs right there. Boom! Look at that, all day downtrend on AMD, but still within the area from yesterday where strong buyers kind of stepped in. So the question becomes, going into the end of the day, where we only have about roughly just over 2 hours, do we break this downtrend? Is this an unusual seller? I don't think so. We're just retracing some of prior day's action there. The question becomes, do buyers step back in? We know that bigger picture, AMD is pushing all-time highs. AMD is pushing higher and higher, or pushing for them and pushing higher and stair-stepping higher. So you can see that all-day selling, maybe the buyers step right back in on the break of this downtrend. That's what I'll be watching for. I got nothing else in terms of what I think is pretty strong. Grizz in the chat saying, can you take a look at SMCI? Sure, we'll take a look at SMCI real quick here. Sideways chop is what I'm saying, but if you kind of zoom in and you kind of break it down, take a look at this. The reversion of the bid, the reversion of the sell that comes in, the reversion of the bid that comes in. So it's been chopping sideways in a bit of a range, but if you're attuned to range trading, it's been giving you really nice legs to both the range highs and the range lows. So I think that's a good look on SMCI. And another thing, the range becomes even better if we're sustaining on top of prior, I guess, bullish or strength or whatever, right? It's stepping up. It's holding structure above some of these highs. So we talk about leg consolidation, leg, and if you're observing leg consolidation, then what's the likelihood of that consolidation being a range for the day? Then maybe you turn on your range trading playbook. So I like the look on SMCI if you're trading it as a range, but bigger picture, this thing does look like it's winding up for something.
Yeah.
What do you got going on?
Oh my God, my throat decided to die while you were talking. Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
We're here.
If you
I think it's bad.
Grab some water, that's fine.
It might have short-term atrophy. We're all good though.
Oh boy.
Let's talk here about AMD. So a lot of people in the chat saying AMD could be bouncing here. I agree. Double bottom. And we're trying to break off this level. And this level that we double bottomed was also the AVWAP from yesterday's open. That being said, my stop is still here above this level. So I'm waiting. If I get stopped out, I leave. If I don't, I will stay. I got stopped out of Meta. As I said, that was a short I was in. I had the least confidence in, but I still followed my plan. I attempted it. It did not quite work, but that's okay. Look, so I tried to get in on that kind of consolidation breakdown. Initially, my stop was here. Then I moved my stop to here.
Nice.
And then I got stopped out.
Yeah,
but guess what, guys? I followed my plan. So
there you go. Nice.
It's so funny. People keep saying that Obi looks like Snoop Dogg in the chat. And then I had to drop it like it's hot in my brain. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I guess Ferrari kind of is still doing that. I'm letting my Ferrari hang out in the garage for now.
Nice.
So I want to talk about Path, though, because I did promise Sage might. I would look at Path. So I'm not maybe going to look at Path. I might look at Path. I will look at Path. Here's the daily. I'm going to be honest with you. I do think there's maybe a level of resistance we're coming into that was previously support around 1860. We're about 60 cents away. Sage, you mentioned $20. I think sometimes these levels are not always going to be $5 or $10 levels, right? So with that in mind, I'm not really sure it's going to be the 20. I think right now, if we can clear 1860, that'd be a great look. That being said, I did message you in the chat and I said, there's something about this chart I love. I didn't tell you what it was. So now I will. Sage, here's what I love about this chart. I think Obi will probably see this too. Look at this resistance level here around 1775. Look where we double bottom, around the same level. This is support. I would even call it the double bottom confluence. I like the idea of it. I'm not going to force a trade in it just because I see it in front of me. That's when I get into trouble. But Sage, I do think, I think we might be able to get above that 1806 level, in which case I think we can power higher. But I'm no Sage. I'm just a girl looking at charts, asking for them to be tradable. Shout out to Notting Hill for anyone who got that reference. I'm going to be honest. I don't care for Notting Hill that much. My mom loves it. I don't really get it, but shout out to anybody who loves those rom-coms. I'm not that person. CrowdStrike, like I said, my stop is 510. We've wicked that area quite a few times. At this point, I'm kind of at the point where I'm probably going to get stopped out, and then you might again be, Adara, why aren't you leaving the trade? My stop isn't hit yet. I'm going to chill. So I'm just going to wait there and see what happens. I do think I'm going to grab water if you guys don't mind. So I will go do that. AMD, if you break above 231, I will get stopped out, and then I might go long, but we'll see. No decision yet.
Thank you very much there. Yeah, no, some solid stuff there. Yeah, a lot of people talking about I look like Snoop Dogg, dude. Like I don't see it. I don't know what you guys are looking at.
When the trade's on the chart, I'll drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, exactly, right. Dara dropping some bars as well. Yeah, what do you guys got eyes on, man? I got a few things that I'm watching for end of day stuff here. AMD being one of them. I want to see, like I just pointed out, that the all day kind of selling. Does that break on the day today, or are we looking for the bid to show up maybe at the end of tomorrow's Friday, at the end of the week, or maybe next week? Maybe we've had a strong week. We're up about 30. Well, we were up about 35% to start the week off, right? Now we had that strength. Do we finish off with a little bit of selling? Maybe, I don't know. We saw some profit taking on day one. We saw the strong leg that happened yesterday, and today we're seeing maybe some gradual selling as well. So Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know how you guys are comparing me to the Snoop Doggy Dogg. Shout out to him. I don't know, because he made music in a while. I don't know what. I remember the last song that he made was with Eminem. I think Eminem and Snoop had a song recently. That's the last one that comes to mind right away. I forget which one that is, but yeah, let's take a look at NNE Dinkelberg. Thank you very much. So just check the daily for NEE. Next Era Energy, not the other one, not NNE, not Nanonuclear, which is two different stocks. But yeah, Next Era Energy. Let's take a look at this one. And you said on the daily. Boom. We'll check a few time frames, not just the daily. With the move this thing's doing, man, you gotta step up some time frames. And oh boy, I see what you mean, Dinkelberg. Oh, I really see what you mean now. Oh boy, that is this is poised for a bit of a move, eh? A little bit of a aggressive bid coming in here as well. I'm going to go straight up to the 3-month chart here because I want to see that action much better. Take a look at this. Would you look at that? This thing has been, you're telling me this thing has been trading since 1968? Are you kidding me? What? Come on, yeah, dude, you didn't buy it back then? What are you doing if you're not buying in 1969, right? That's absolutely crazy. What a run up on this one. But I like the monthly structure here as well. Look at multi-year green months back to back on this one, and then when we start to come into this area, we just start getting absolutely crazy. So that's a really strong consolidation on a step up here. Where was this shake and bake? So this was the first crazy candle ever. And guess what? That was January. This is a 3-month, so this is the COVID drop, January 2020s, right? Since then, take a look at the volatility profile of this stock. Absolutely crazy on the monthly, and maybe poised for even higher, because if we're going to step up into these highs like this on the daily, oh boy. So thank you, Dinkelberg. I'm definitely going to be watching this one here, maybe on a higher time frame, and maybe we're going to get intraday opportunities as well. All-time highs on this one being at 84.68. This is an absolutely beautiful chart. Talk about a higher time frame breakout potential on this one, but guess what? Real risk. We talk about real risk. If I'm buying this breakout at 85s, real risk, 60s. So if you're willing to take on that risk, you got to take a look at the legs that this thing has had, and maybe some potential push on that. That's how I kind of see it. Maybe you can tighten it up to here or even here. This was a bit of a level that I marked off earlier, 76, 70s for some reason. It seems like that was a bit of a grind and hold, and that's where we had this anchored VWAP coming off of as well. And once we broke what I thought was an initial a bit of a prior structure, you can see that acceleration coming in on the stock as well. So I like that. Poised for some fresh highs. So thank you, Dinkelberg, for checking that for us on the daily. That is looking absolutely solid. Marcos Morales saying, hope he looks more like Russ than Snoop Dogg. That's you know what? I'll
this is a man would love that compliment.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I listen to a lot of Russ, and I like his music, and I like the mindset that Russ brings. It might be a lot for some people, but you know what? It's definitely home for me. So shout out to you for that. I definitely like Russ. I like Russ. I like his style. I like his way of approaching the music industry as well. You know, he's mixed, mastered, and what does he say? Mixed, mastered, and produced. So he does that all by himself, right? So, and he owns his own label, kind of. Well, not anymore. I think he's one of the few guys that actually has a 50% split now with his label, because he brings a lot to the table, right? Yeah. So I like the way that Russ conducts his business. And you know what? A lot of rappers are spending money on this, that, and the other, and Buddy's buying apartment buildings. So, you know, there is a difference in terms of a business mindset that the man has, and I do respect him for that. So, a little bit of a Russ rant.
And fun fact, I went to see Russ in concert when I was 17 because we got a free album.
Oh,
if
nice.
we went to see it. And then he was really late and then blamed Winnipeg on the airport. So that's my impression.
Flight issues?
Yeah, but I don't know why it was our fault. Anyway, my fun little Rust caveat. I think we're getting a little rusty on this show, though. It's 3 hours in, Obi.
Oh boy, it's 2 o'clock already.
Guys, thank you so much for being here with me. I do apologize for my voice deciding to pull a Ferrari and drive to the downside, but guess what? The market is too powerful for any voices to stop it. If we are ready, we may be ready. We are going to send you over to the fellas, to our left. So get it, Bash Brothers. See y'all.
Take it easy, guys.
Please
see ya.
bunch.
Oh, baby.